How about now? Better? All right, we're good now. Hi, welcome to the close, as I was saying. We're going to take it right through to 4 o'clock. It's been a bit of a choppy session overall following that inflation number. If you missed it, going all the way back to the morning, it came in as expected. So, yeah, nothing to see here. 7% year over year, still a huge number, but exactly where it was supposed to be. The ex-food, so if you take out food prices, 5.5%, which was much better than expected, which helped this. Let's have a look at where the markets are right now in positive territory. S&P 500, 0.13. The Dow basically flat, 0.4 for the NASDAQ there. Tech stocks were higher than that at one point. We have come off the highs a little bit. Bottom end of the board, crude oil, 2% day once again. Again, pre-pandemic levels for crude oil. So some of the energy stocks having a good day. Bitcoin, Ethereum, nice rally as well. 4% back to the upside for Ethereum. Yeah, pretty choppy board right across the entire thing here. Bit of a checkered board, as I like to say. Healthcare stocks leading to the downside. Strength over here in communication services and material stocks. Yeah, some of the material names really strong out of the gate today. FCX there still 4% to the upside. Mosaic right beside it, about 3% in positive territory. Some banks having trouble today as well ahead of earnings on Friday. Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, both 3% in negative territory. A little bit of positivity in the tech group, specifically in semiconductors here. AMAT leading. Nothing else really making noteworthy moves. NVIDIA, Micron, both 1% to the upside, but that's it. As I said, healthcare stocks really struggling today. Same story over here on the NASDAQ if it wants to load for us. You'd see a checkered board if it did pop up, but it looks like it's going to. Oh, there we go. There we go. Yeah. Biogen, as I mentioned, 6% to the downside here. ALGN and DXCM offsetting each other. Some of the retailers, Peloton, once again, 2.5%. There's Lucid, 2% to the downside. Tesla right beside it, 3% higher. Zoom continues to struggle. PayPal on a downgrade today continues to struggle. Let's get into what we were trading this morning. If you joined us in the pre-market, we talked about a whole bunch of stuff, including inflation, because it was, if you missed it, exactly where it was supposed to be. We'll kick things off here this afternoon with a bit of a look back at what was available for trade ideas. Sean's ready to go and is going to talk about one of those names we just mentioned, in fact, Sean.
Sure, thank you. Yeah, the trade of the day today, it's a doozy, and it's going to be Lucid. We tried to focus on EVs today. I don't know, they've been running, and I think if you focus on certain sectors, it just makes it a little bit easier. So today, if you notice here on the sticky note, we have Lucid on here, and yesterday it was wild. It was ripping up, down, and around, over and back. Today we say, let's be very, very patient. The same thing with Rivian yesterday, but let's be very, very patient and wait for 48 to short. Also, Rivian 8750, we have those shorts. We have both these trades on. We could have chosen either one for the trade of the day. I forgot to tell Neil this, but just minimize this, Neil, if you can. We'll take this off the screen right now, but we were waiting for Lucid, and we loved the short. So, yeah, there it is. Thank you, my friend. I forgot to mention that to Neil before. But here's the chart, and why did we pick Lucid 48s? Well, I mean, kind of simple. You just go back here. 48 was the high yesterday or a couple days ago when we had that crazy run. I guess it was yesterday, up to 47 and change. So we were really trying to be specific with what we were waiting for. You notice here on the 20-minute, this is a 20-minute chart. Lucid's been all over the place, man. I mean, look at this trend. Obviously straight to the upside. But remember, lockup period coming next week, a week today, January 19th. So what that means is everyone that was unable to sell their shares on IPO now have the opportunity to do so. So again, who knows what's going to happen at this lockup period, but I tend to favor shorts in this environment. Plus, today, obviously, as Brendan was mentioning, we had the CPI. And again, it came out as expected. But in a high inflation and then raising interest rate environment, we don't expect a lot of these companies to make money in this environment. Well, they may make money, but we know they'll be punished in the stock market for not having any real earnings. But here we go. So we started right here at 46. We didn't wait exactly for 48 again. We should have, because I would have loved to put the double the position on there. But we start building it right here at about 46.75. Again, Lucid had its day this morning, back and forth and around. It ripped up to 47.20, then all the way back down to 45.20. So about in the first 5-10 minutes, we had a $2 range. So we knew it was going to be one of those spicy days. We get the short there, then we put on a much bigger position at the top, which allows us, because again, it's getting closer to 48. So we want to be able to say, you know what, if we're going to lose a significant amount of money, at least we did it at a level that we were happy with. Because in the past, I'd be like, okay, I want to short 48. So I would just take the shorts all the way up, not giving me an opportunity to ever get out really for a true profit. So as it comes back down, that order was just to get some out because we were a little nervous as it was jumping around there. Then all of a sudden we take a piece out at 48, and then you heard me say it, forget about it. We want to be able to hold something. We like the short to the downside. And here it comes, man. The only level of concern for me was right in here, this 44.80 level, which I was like, you know what? We've bounced, Neil's talking about this as well, bounced a couple times off this 44.80, 45 level. And yeah, I was very, very close to putting out a bid there. But I thought, you know what? Yeah, I don't have the chart up here, but the NASDAQ is going down. And it's like, okay, maybe they don't want this name anymore. And you could see a flush down to the downside, and now 44. I just put out a tweet. Look, we're now $3.50 in the money. We still have this trade. I can't find an area of support where to get out. So I marked down right here as a level, 43 even. We topped out there back on the 5th or 6th. We top out there again on the 7th or 8th. So that could be an area for me to worry about now with Lucid. So I may just put in, I think I have an order there, but we'll see if I do or not. I would love to get that fill at 43, top off a great trade in Lucid, but it's your trade of the day. It's, for me, it's almost perfect. Would have liked to reload in there, but we did reload Rivian. We have a nice trade on that one. I'm hoping so as well, but that's your trade of the day. It's Lucid, and it was a fun one.
Lots of two-way action right across the board this morning, depending on what you were looking at, whether it was EVs, whether it was the banks, whether it was any of the big tech stocks, really. Initial strength was faded back to the downside, and here we go. Right back towards session lows right now. That's the watch list, guys. Miss V in the chat right now can help you out with that if you do need that. We are, as I said, headed back towards session lows at the moment. The beige book just out there at 2 p.m. I mean, there's nothing significant as far as comments in this, it would appear. I mean, they're saying the economy expanded at a slow but steady pace in the final weeks of 2021. So, I mean, inflation remains the main concern. Nothing really significant as far as problems, anyways, at this point, as far as the beige book. But selling continuing here, heading into the afternoon as we head back towards 4,700 on the ES. There's a look at a few things we'll discuss here coming up over the next few minutes. We'll take you right through to 4 o'clock. As I said, DWAC, the big mover on the day, or one of the big movers on the day, back to the upside again. If you zoom out on an intraday time frame, I mean, 3 days in a row, this thing looking pretty good once again. All kinds of volume. You know, Neil, it kind of seems like they're buying this into that 21st date coming up.
That's certainly exactly what it feels like. And I got to see what Sean thinks about that. DWAC, are you buying it into the potential launch on the 21st?
I would probably buy into the potential long, yeah.
Okay, well, I tried it to the short side, but that's a day trade. We're talking about day trades here. Obviously, that's not Sean. Randy just sitting in here. Sean probably grabbing, maybe not grabbing the water, but maybe grabbing a bathroom break here. But yeah, DWAC, it's been on a great run. I'll show you the 15-minute chart. You get those nice higher lows breaking out at 68. But I'm going to show you 2 different things here. One, people have been asking for it, so I'm going to go back and forth for you guys just so you can check it out. Like, there's my 15. You're going to see me maybe flip back and show you this. Because all my 3-minute charts up top are always black, and some people like the black look, but basically the same chart here. I have no idea what everyone's preference is going to be. You guys can sort of vote there and let us know in the chat. But, you know, DWAC breaking that 68 level, nice little train to the upside. But realistically, I still like to short at 80. I did already, 70 I should say. I did have one. I haven't put executions on this chart. It's apologies there, so I have to now do this for you. I did grab a short when it failed, broke through 68, was able to scalp some out for 70 cents, and then got out at break even. It looks like it's continuing its, break and fail notion. So the next big level should be 70 on DWAC. Funware is also moving a little bit as well. But, all signs point to a bit of a rally into this expected launch on President's Day. We'll see if that actually happens. Nobody knows. Now you're going to be Randy because he stole your tape measure, bro. How wide is that?
Just double checking his measurement.
Get on it.
You got to triple check his measurements.
Come on now.
What?
It's square. It's
Yeah, but okay, first of all, you also told us we can't lean on this.
lean on now. See? Right here.
Yeah, but you guys. Yeah, when you
didn't
first,
even
yeah,
notice
but
it.
when he first built it, he's like, make sure you don't put any weight on this. I'm like, okay,
sit on
well,
it,
it's
like,
only an
don't, you know,
armrest.
like-
I won't put any weight on it.
But now you can. It's good.
Now I can. Okay, there you go.
Give me an update on Roblox.
I thought you have the stock up. You want me to give you an update on the stock that you have
I
up
think
there?
they trust you more than they trust me.
Okay, well, I mean,
A little bit.
no. Are we really going to talk Roblox? Is that what you want? I don't. No problem. We can talk a little bit of Roblox here. I don't know why you're looking at it. I thought you were going to talk about Ford
In a minute.
which Sean is literally long right now. Just going to throw that one out there. Sean's just chilling over there. Long Ford. Randy said he would talk about Ford, and now we're going to discuss.
Ready to manage that position.
It's fine. It's in the money.
For the money.
That's, I mean, I don't know about how much, but it's definitely in the money, so don't worry about it. Look, Roblox is
I'm not gonna
another
tell
one of
you how
these
much.
names under pressure. We talk about the higher valuation type new names to the market. The market's rolling over a little bit here, so it tried to break 90. Now it's just coming back to the downside, but it's range bound. I don't think I'm going to be involved in Roblox. I don't think there's a there today on this stock. I know Trader Prab was talking about it. Personally, I'm into the short side. If I had to pick one, it's usually always a firm, and I did grab that. So if you're looking for a related type of name, twice as many charts. Did my black one load? No, they both froze up on me there. Yeah, so there we go. A firm, I have a bid down here in front of 79. I am currently short. Again, I still have to put executions on my darker chart for you guys to see. Bouncing off VWAP and breaking the lows, headed towards this 79 support from yesterday. So there is a rollover happening in some of the high valuation names. Maybe that's what we're talking about in Roblox. But yeah, we started with DWAC, and I just feel like you have to change the way you trade that stock. It's a scalping stock now. It doesn't break and halt. It doesn't break and move 5%. It kind of gives you these little pot shots time and time again. Even a firm's trading that way too.
Yeah, pot shots. Okay, thank you, Randy, for filling in quite wonderfully. I don't know, how do you guys think you did? Okay, so right now we are just looking at Ford. Ooh, yeah, nice little move back upside there. We talked about this on Trader Pradshaw. I don't even have my earpiece in. $24 long. That's a trade that we liked, and now you're back up to $24.30 right now. Oh no, am I out of batteries on this thing here? Hold on a second. There we go. We're good to go now. But okay, that's just Ford. I'm still waiting up here. Hopefully we get some out on the way back to the upside. But we just did the trade of the day on Lucid. It's been a great one, but we are starting to go back to the upside now. And I just feel like, you know, how greedy do we really need to get here with Nvidia positive, the NASDAQ still positive on the day? Sorry, not Win. I was looking at Win now. Tesla, obviously upside as well. Rivian starting to bounce back a little bit, although we're 25 cents. Here's that trade that we had. Oh man, Rivian did go to, that's what I mean. Oh, I canceled my bids when I came over here. I thought I had a bid at 85 there on Rivian because again, wanted just to get out at these pre-market levels, thinking that the move was probably overdone a bit, but there's the reload, and there's what we talked about, 87.50 on the sticky note for Rivian. Tank City right there, and then we reloaded it, and we should have got out again for another $1 there, but we didn't. We should have put a bid there, but we didn't, so that's my bad. I thought we did have that, and there's Ford. Yes, sir. Wow. Right now, how happy are we with this one, man? Ford, bang. Wow, big time movement right there to the north side for Ford, all the way to 24.35. Yes, sir. I'll take that. I'll take two, as a matter of fact, on that one. And then Lucid, I don't know. It's right out of spot right now, 44.50. Normally I just take that out at 44.50, but what is this bottom? Man, that's all the way back to those levels, 44.80. Yeah, let's take a break of 44.60, man. If we break through there, let's just get out, end our Lucid trade with a big win, and happy to do that. So I know we're on that board there, and I'm not really talking about DWAC here, but yeah, so I think the board was a good idea. I think it was a great idea, but we have to stay on topic here, and I think
stay on target.
Stay on, target found. You know, whatever, we'll figure it out. 44.60, we're going to get out of Lucid. We had that one for a nice ride, but back over to you, Brendan. Right this ship, my friend.
All right, let's move along, guys. Goldman Sachs talking positively on Apple this morning, and I mean very positively, saying that their iPhone lead time now is basically where it should be, non-existent, in fact. Some of the MacBook Pros, the laptops, though, still struggling as far as supply chain is concerned, but they like it. They put a price target increase on it, but ends up being a bit of a nothing burger here today. I want to mention this real quick, actually. Their Beats Fit Pro earbuds. coming to market at the end of the month. I'm actually really excited about this. I read a really good review on these. So I, in fact, may upgrade, guys, to this product when it does come at the end of January.
You know what's the hilarious thing about Apple that tells you everything you need to know is I've never bought an app personally. I've never bought an Apple product for myself. I've gifted it to others, and I got something for free. But I've never bought it myself, but I've always owned the stock. And my whole entire family's Apple. And I apologize for this wick on the chart. I was about to clean it up there. But I had a feeling today, and we sort of discussed this in the morning show, that I didn't think Apple would be the mover. Like, you're still, look at the range. It's basically sitting in the exact pocket that we were talking about this morning, and it's not a bad thing. Obviously, the market's going to go up and down. It just feels like the reaction to the CPI, and given what's happening in some of these other, I guess, more beaten up names, that's where your bigger opportunities were going to be. And that's nothing against Apple. It cuts in both directions. If it's going to be a safer place to play, then when you have these bigger moves reacting to numbers, you're probably going to be in a tighter range. So it was good news when talking about alleviating some of the supply chain concerns for Apple, and we can certainly be happy about that. But it just basically stuck right in the middle all day long. This by the middle on the daily chart between this 168 and then up top here that 3 trillion market cap mark around 183, and we're just hugging the middle of that range. So not much for a day trade. At least we're able to find the places where the volatility does lie. Speaking of which, Tesla. Is it now cleanly breaking 1100? Yeah, now breaking 1100 a little bit more cleanly. It's been going back and forth all morning. All day, I should say. But Apple, day trade nothing burger, but still in the midst of a fantastic run and not much of a pullback. And that's why it's not always the biggest day trade in the world.
No, we wrote it down today at 174 that we liked it back down in here. We probably should have taken that fill rate there. But again, yeah, not super exciting. I think Apple's just going to continue to work in this environment. If you did want a piece of tech and, again, you're not sure, I would buy an ETF right now at some of these levels, including the Qs or the Spiders. But if you did want a piece of Apple, I think you're still fine right here. 74 has been holding, 74 has been holding pretty good. That's what we talked about. That was what was on the sticky note today. Just hold out on Apple. We weren't sure when we wrote that note about the CPI, but obviously now it's well under control, come as expected, which I think is great for Apple. So if things are as expected, it's one of the most loved big cap tech stocks. Probably the most, besides, I think Tesla probably, because Tesla has more of a cult following. But you could see right here, Apple, one of the only names, besides Tesla again, above its 50-period moving average. Microsoft's below, Google's below, Amazon's below, Netflix is below. I mean, I don't think Netflix is the same bucket as Apple, but all those other guys are, and you're going to see that it's still to the upside. And here's just as a comparison, here's Microsoft well below, although that 312 or 306, whatever that was yesterday, 312 yesterday was a bonus, and then that other day before, 306 down here. You're not going to find Microsoft or a lot of these names too far below the 50-period moving average in the bull run that we've just had even over the last 15 years. So Microsoft right here well below. I think this is worth a pickup as well. But Apple with one of the solid cash positions, they can pretty much buy any other company. So I really like Apple. They have a moat around them, I feel like. So Apple for the win always. I just keep buying on any dips.
Just looking at crude oil here, once again, somebody tweeting in the Beige Book release there at 2 o'clock, Omicron, the word Omicron, made 44 appearances, a mere 44 appearances, which is, I guess, significant, apparently. So the Beige Book, if you're wondering, guys, is a Federal Reserve report that comes out once a month, just talking about the economy. CL, or crude oil, I should say, futures, CL. 2% now. We were talking about this morning. It was down here at 82, trying to hold this 82 level. Say hello to 83 now for crude oil. We're easily above pre-pandemic levels now, so you got to go all the way back to 2019. It's been quite the run back to the upside here, as we've said, for oil, but pretty strong run across the board for some of these stocks today as well. Yeah, and this one kind of sucks because I sort of said Oxy was one I was looking for today for a fade, just given where it was on the daily chart. So the last time it came up here, if we didn't make fresh highs, even when crude was strong, it tends to gravitate towards the top, barcode a little bit, and then give you a bit of a reversal. And then it actually did the move. It popped through and then had the reversal, but I was looking 36, right? And we got to 35, 40. So I had an offer out there. It never got picked up. And sometimes you follow your rules and you don't get in too early, which
we've shown the results of like sometimes when you get in too early and then just sort of like work it against you and average in, and then it ends up being a complete mess. So this time I try to stay a bit disciplined. Maybe I'll get another shot at it here, especially look, if crude's going to continue to try to press, I do think we're likely to see that 36 top on Oxy. It tends to be pretty volatile. So as a day trading vehicle, that's where I like to be able to go. Okay, like I know we're doing the rundown, but I got to talk, at least have to mention that DWAC just moved here. So I just said it was messy at that 68 level. I got stopped out the second half of my short off the high of the day. It just keeps going back and forth, like 67 quarter, back into 68.5. I think once it breaks out of this range in either direction, it's going to be a more interesting trade. But this is just the way it is right now in DWAC. It'll put in these $1, $1.25, $1.50 type range moves, and it's not really following through with your $4 or $5 breakout. So you have to temper your expectations when you're trading this. That's why you got to be doing some scalping. Otherwise, you're just sort of throwing away, potential profit.
So here is I've been pumping the tires, hopefully a lot for you guys on the XLE, just recommending that for the last couple of weeks. It's been an easy play. Obviously, XOM, Chevron, way better as far as capital appreciation. But again, XLE, a very, very safe place to go into. This is a weekly on oil, right? And so we start the day talking about oil coming back to pre-pandemic levels. I mean, it's way back to pre-pandemic. I mean, this is the pandemic right here, where oil went minus 40. Not that you could have bought that at minus 40, but it doesn't matter. That's just telling you where we were. Yeah, I wish we were. I'd be long. So they'd owe me $40, then I'd be in the money another 80. So I'd be in the money $121.
Ching, ching.
Right now. Unfortunately, that's not the way it works. Maybe we shouldn't say that as we're trying to educate you guys. But okay, so anyways, here's the chart. So you took out this level. This goes all the way back, actually, Brendan, to October of 2018. So you're back into these levels of $74, which we took out already back this summer in July before testing that level and dropping back. And look at this, guys. It's a 50-period moving average here on a weekly chart. So you can see we've bounced off of this a little bit again. So we bounced off of it at 63. Then we bounced off again at 68. You could see this has been pretty key, man, this average. And then you're now talking about $85 again. So it looks like we're going to take out again those highs from back in October here for light sweet crude. So this is CL $F or hashtag F on eSignal. But again, taking out these levels, it looks absolutely fantastic. The only thing is, like look at this big run that happened right here, right? Fall. So it looks like I don't know if we fall all the way back in, but I would start to take some off. I've been saying that over and over again about XLE. I think it's just, not that it's overdone, but like here's the move up. Here's the move down. So I'm looking like, here's the move up. We could retrace back down. I don't know about 56, but I definitely think a remove back into 58 or 60 on XLE is probably what's coming. So I'd take some off here if I was long on oil. You have bank earnings coming. There's a lot of opportunities to use that capital somewhere else. But hey, I like oil. It continues to work. And if you're holding XOM, it's I believe it's a 4.9 or so dividend. So there's nothing wrong with grabbing 5%. And we're going to talk about portfolio management and stuff coming up. But, 5% dividend for a longer term investment, hard to say there's anything wrong with that. Chevron about 4.1. So they're both right there, both dividend monsters. And I would say continue to hold both those names.
Yeah, and is it over or even close to it? I was reading something a couple of weeks ago, guys suggesting $150 or $175 barrel oil is coming, possibly even this summer, which would be insane if you want to fill your car up with gas. The other thing that was today that helped that secondary push to the upside for oil, the inventory numbers, 4.9 million drawdown versus 1.7, I think it was, expected. So much larger than expected demand for crude oil as well. Let's talk about the overall market and this inflation number, because it was much anticipated today. Going into 8:30 this morning, comes out exactly as expected. I mean, the market overall, yeah, there was a positive reaction initially. We test back to essentially where we were late in the day yesterday, and we've done nothing since. So 7%, still a big number, but I guess in line is a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, like there was a lot of doom and gloom going on before. Like if you just read like Fin Twitter and a lot of the pundits sort of talking about how this could be, it could get pretty ugly, and if we don't get abating inflation within the first quarter, or definitely by the second quarter, if we don't start to see it like a slowdown there, if we continue to increase growth, it's just a problem for the Fed. They'll have to be far more aggressive, right? And it's a lot of people saying they're already behind the curve. So even though we're only up on the NASDAQ 0.5%, and the S&P 0.25%, it's still a positive reaction relative to I think what could have happened here. Like if we had gotten a number a little bit hotter, I think you'd be seeing a bigger fall to the downside. Especially, there's no way we'd be up on the session. And you're also seeing it a little bit reflecting in the banks. I'm pulling up Morgan Stanley because I kind of always do, but it already had what was in the midst of finally breaking past this 105, 106 area, and then you're seeing pullback in here. I'm cherry picking because it's the most aggressive pullback, but relative to what you're seeing in the rest of the market, there are some of the banks pulling back a little bit, and I think that's par for the course, right? Like if you're talking about inflation, and again, it was as expected.
Spicy.
Like it's not like inflation decreased. It was still as expected. It just goes to show the tone of the market. Like it wasn't bad news. Like that's the key. It wasn't bad news. The market's saying we'll take it.
Hello.
And I don't know, Randy, man, what's going on, buddy? Breaking things back.
Yeah, if you hear anything in the background, guys, it's because we are improving. And thank you so much So you guys didn't want red as a background, so we switched it to blue. I kind of like the blue.
I do
let us know in the chat. You didn't like the red because it was like triggering some emotions because it was like a red day, and people were like, nah, get that away. So we did do that. So again, send some love our way, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We're making changes. And again, we do have the blueprints right here, and you can.
These are now fake.
Yeah, wait, sorry, I don't want to show you them. I don't know.
Those aren't the real ones.
Yeah, those aren't the real blueprints, aren't they? What did we change?
No, we didn't. Those are
those are the real blueprints. Okay, but we're making some changes there. So thank you for putting up with all that background noise, and we appreciate that, and we appreciate the guys working super hard behind us. Okay, so just to talk about that inflation, whenever a number comes out as expected, this is what we expect. I mean, the market today at 8:30, right when the number was coming out, guys. This is the Qs, of course. So here's the market pre-number, 387. Here's the market right now, 387. So we did make a little bit of a violent move off the open here, right in here, movement to the downside, then back up, trying to figure itself out. But this is just like any other day on the NASDAQ, and that's how I'm going to treat it. So we just continue to try to trade the best names, try to look for some good opportunities for you. And here's a little bit of a broader market, just so everybody can calm down. I say that all the time to friends of mine that ask me about different stocks or different ideas, and it's just honestly, the market's not beat down enough right now to say, okay, I missed an opportunity to deploy more capital here. No, you didn't. The market could fall further from here, and if it doesn't, that's why we still hold on to some of the shares that we have. And you should never pair off of every name that you think can work just because the market goes to the downside. I'm nervous about inflation. It's nice to see that it's apparently under control a little bit now. It comes out as expected. I like that number. X food was 5.5 or something. Obviously, food's important to Main Street, but Wall Street, they're going to look at oil. Hopefully that comes back down. We'll see about that. I know for a fact lumber, metal prices, a lot of those have come back in a little bit. Obviously, lumber a lot from its peaks. So let's just see what happens here. The NASDAQ is really just whatever, man. We're still back to where we were no problem, right in the middle of this sort of choppiness. I'm happy with the market right now, and I feel like you guys should be too. And remember, I said this yesterday, man, and I'm surprised to see the banks moving like that, Neil, because yesterday I said...
Well, I cheated. Morgan's moving way more than the rest.
Okay, but still, whatever. They're all very, very high quality at this point, like Bank of America, Morgan, JP Morgan, even WFC. And I just talked about it yesterday, and look, you're not missing anything. XLF is flat on the day, but I still think you should take some off. Tomorrow we start with bank earnings. I expect them to be good, but with my experience, and I think we can all talk about this, they generally sell off because the banks, the CEOs, they're very conservative, and I just don't think that they'll be like, oh man, this is a great environment for us. I still think they'll talk about supply chain. I still think they'll talk about interest rates. So, I would just pair some off of XLF. And then, hey, if we're wrong and the banks continue to motor, man, you just get back in. You're not going to miss. It's not like Morgan Stanley on earnings is going to be up 8-9%. I mean, they're going to be up or down 2 or 3% probably. So there's lots of opportunity to get back in. I believe the risk on the banks is to the downside.
You can always get back in the banks. That's the reality. You never miss entry points there. And as a matter of fact, you get worried about the banks when they are too rosy.
Yeah.
When they're talking super confidence, financial crisis, that's when you want to be a little bit wary of them, at least a little bit. But I will note, because why not? We're in Canada. Oh, come on, Daily Chart. I wanted to pull up TD just to show how strong it's been. Canadian banks been doing pretty well there, but
ridiculous.
my daily doesn't want to load on me.
Yeah, I mean, Bank of Nova Scotia, they're all
My daily chart has performance anxiety there, so whatever.
performance anxiety. Yeah, you don't want that, especially on your charts. Okay, so here's BNS right now, moving up to the upside. We'll talk about it. BNS and TD Bank, it's working for me. So both dual listed. So we'll just stay here in New York, as many of our viewers, obviously, on the Canadian side of things, or sorry, on the U.S. side. There it is, just a monster move. Basically, this is Bank of Nova Scotia. The Canadian banks just continue. Like, you want to talk about motoring? Like these names a year ago, back in January. $52, up $73. That's a monster move. Here's Neil's. So I'm in Bank of Nova Scotia, Neil's in TD. So you look at this one as well. They all pretty much look the same. For some reason, I feel like CIBC is outperforming them all. But there we go. So Bank of Nova Scotia was $52 a year ago, and now same kind of price. And here's TD Bank, the same type of thing. $58 up to 80. So just been monsters for the Canadian bank. Canadian housing market is still so super strong, man. They're selling like garages in Ontario or in Toronto for like 800 grand, like something that's like 600 square feet. So watch out for that. I don't know. Interest rates raising. Yeah, probably will happen over here as well. But again, I believe like the housing market, you still need that 20% down. I still think mortgage rates are still fine. And then, you know, obviously housing as an asset, I think is still fine here. But we'll wait to see. TD Bank up that 1%. I still say trim, man. I'm not trimming anything. But if your big part of your basket is in banks, I just feel like you might as well take some out now. Watch out for the ex-dividend dates and stuff like that. You don't want to miss a dividend. But at the same time, I think it's worth probably taking out. Let's go back over to Brendan.
All right, let's jump over to the EV group because it remains pretty impressive. I mean, Tesla here, I was just noticing, guys, like 4% for Tesla today, back to above 1,100 and then some volume coming in fact, as we crack back through 1,100. A few notes on the rest of these names, though. Lucid, we mentioned lockup coming. Rivian is going to be Rivian going forward. But that being said, we also had this note on Lucid I want to mention. They're going to build a Saudi factory by 2026, according to Bloomberg here. So Lucid going to do some manufacturing in Saudi, which is possibly a good move for them. But I mean, we saw, Sean, your run through of Lucid there off the top at 2 o'clock. The rest of this group, though, is it actually still strong?
Yeah, I mean, look, the EV space is the most crowded space by far right now. I mean, I can't even think of a more crowded space. Like, who's going to win in the EV race? Who knows, man? GM pumping money. We know Ford's pumping money. Not only that, these are profitable companies that are in the game now. And obviously, we know Tesla produced, 500,000 cars last year. Lucid still, Rivian still, they're not producing nearly at length and at capacity, I should say, that a lot of these. And when you say that we're about to open up something in Saudi Arabia, I think that's what it was, right, Brendan? Yeah. So, that's better for me on the short side. They're spending more money. That's like not going to work in this environment. So the next time they're going to show their balance sheet or whatever they're going to show, I mean, balance sheet's probably going to be nothing, but just to talk about their income statement, whatever, they're going to be putting on their more factories, more expenses, and not having yet a significant amount of revenue. So for me, just keep it coming, man. We're already short Lucid. We did put it out here. If it breaks above 45, we'll get out of that one. But right now, we're short this name. It's coming back in. Not only that, we're short. Look what we're short here. We're short Lucid and we're short Rivian. Both cash. And look what we're long, Ford. So, I mean, it's not rocket science for me, man. Buy the best names, find levels for these ones. I'm still invested in I'm not invested in Rivian. I'm not invested in Lucid. I'm only invested in Ford, GM, Tesla, and Fisker. So those are the only four that I'm in on. Fisker's more for, let's go Rivian. Here it comes right back to the downside. I'm bidding 85 now. Let's just get this name out. We've already taken, should we bid 85s? I don't know, man. The market's, forget that. Here we go. Getting greedy again. So we'll see. Can we have diamond hands for the short side right now? As we've already seen this move to the downside right now. We reloaded. Our first short's 88. Short again. I like the Lucid lockup coming next week. But hey, I just feel like in this environment, if the NASDAQ wants to fall, the first place that's going to get hit are some of these companies. And we've talked about why, Neil. You're going to talk about Tesla. That's a winner no matter what.
Yeah, they're up 4% today. Tesla is winning. And Tesla, this morning, there's going to be misses every now and then. And I like the 1085, if you're watching the show, I sort of said, sort of ignore where it was, like the pre-market highs, that 70 area, and you go back a couple of days when we had the wick bottom, the range was 1085. It broke it. It even pulled right back into the 85 level. I mean, the timing of when it happened relative to the NASDAQ and that 16,000 level kind of threw things off kilt for me, but we did still get the breakout. It then held that same price level. Just keep in mind, like, a few things, right? Like, today we're getting, like we said with the inflation print not being bad news, but remember, Tesla is still valuation-wise going to be troubling for a lot of people. So when you do have at some point, this raising rate environment, if we do have some bad prints in the future when it comes to inflation, we're going to get the PPI tomorrow. You still have some runway, you still have some risk involved in Tesla at these prices, and that's just going to be the reality. Like, Tesla is not, you can't just dislocate it from the bucket of a high valuation stocks. It's still in that bucket. Yes, I think in the EV space, it's the winner in terms of the company, in terms of the brand, in terms of the product, Cybertruck notwithstanding maybe, but everything else, we're talking about Starlink before we came on the show with Randy. You could have talked about that when he sat in your chair.
Yeah, I was like, that's why I gave him the open mic there.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we could have talked about that. I think that's fantastic. Maybe at some point that gets spun off and you get some value there. But Tesla working very well today. I would just be careful when we don't have as green of a day. You get outsized moves will come in the other direction as well for Tesla. But the break of 85 has happened. Now it's now turned into recent support. Next level up is about 1140 if you look at significant levels at least on your 15.
Look, so much stronger than the rest of them today for Tesla. Pretty impressive. Let's go to Crocs. Crocs, another name that's, I just noticed, guys, 10 on the PE for Crocs, which is very, very low. Piper Sandler out this morning with this note on them. They love it right across the board. Price target increase, talking about Q4 revenue going to be up 42% for Crocs. So, I mean, this had a nice double top down here of 115, then straight to the upside, up 8% today. Gets the CNBC bounce there, or pump at lunchtime as well.
So look, like you said, the PE, that's pretty good for Crocs. So excuse me when I short it, but I only did it because it was a CNBC move. And there's a very specific setup. Like, if you, let's try to do this. Like, on my chart, I'll try to hide most of it. So this is essentially what I was looking at when you got the bump. It goes right into 136, breaks the high, tries to get to the next dollar, does not, starts to fade back in. So if I can do that, zooms down, gives a bit of a failure. So I'm looking to then short the top of that consolidation. Like, this is a setup. If there's snap news or just like a mention or a CEO on a program, like, I'm going to want to take that setup almost every single time. If I end up getting short like 135.60, your out is about 40 cents plus slippage at 136. The pullback first out is in front of 35 and then maybe down in front of 34. So I love that risk to reward. It ends up breaking out and then I end up taking it out. And it's a failed break. It would have given me the level. But to me, it's about the setup. It's about the idea, the execution. Overall, though, we take a step back and sort of look at, like you just said, Crocs being, at 10 times. It just broke back above the 200 period, well below the 50 period, holding right around where you had some support going back into August and then back into August and then October as well. So a couple of layers of support, a couple of wick off bottoms to boot if you want to be helped out there. And now if it could consolidate above the 200 period, you do have a stock which is primed for a bit of a comeback. So I like Crocs. I understand that not everybody does. I'm sure Ms. V likes it just because the Beebs is involved there. But anyways, definitely a good-looking, or starting to be a good-looking chart. I would like to see it hold this level and consolidate and then set up for a break at 140 and maybe a test to that 50 period. But I think you can get bullish with the chart. The only reason I shorted it today had to do with the snap news and the setup. And that's the difference between day trading something and then maybe the long-term prospects you have for it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just go with whatever. I mean, I'm just too busy looking at all these other stocks. I don't have too much opinion there on Crocs, but it looks like we missed our out on Rivian. Like, we were sitting there, could have got filled, and we got greedy again. So we'll wait to see if it comes back and test that 85 level back on the downside. But you can see the NASDAQ starting to make a move down. And I want to address something. Someone was like AMD to zero. Like, come on, man. I mean, when you get the NASDAQ dumping down like that, all you really got to find is other key levels. So, I mean, to get down there, when you see a dump down like that, look at the risk to reward on this one, just to show you guys, we're here to educate as well. If you take that long right here at 136, even if you get it at 30, something like that, comes all the way back in, right? And you're trying to be patient. Look at that. You take the bid at 30. Where's your out going to be? It's pretty simple to find it. Why not just hold it to the end of the day? That's going to be 50 cents worth of risk. This is the kind of analysis that I do on the fly, and we all do on the fly here, right? That's 50 cents worth of risk. You're already in the money $1, I guess 80 cents on that trade. So right there, you already have a 2-to-1 risk to reward, and you didn't even, you know how long it took you? 5 minutes there. So, if you're looking for a trade, that's the kind of move that you want to do. And then I also heard someone say, well, Intel all of a sudden just crashed. It does the same move again. So right back down into the 55 level. Intel's been a lot weaker, but if you look here today, that bottom, maybe I can zoom this back out here. Look at the bottom here, 55 and change, so 55.20. It actually wicks down all the way to 54.80. So again, understand why AMD would be a different play than Intel. Intel's already red pretty significantly on the day, right? AMD is positive, not positive now, but was positive today all day. So, you got to sort of pick your poison on maybe where you're looking to reload a short might be on a name like Intel and reload a long on a name like AMD because you're recognizing that one is stronger than the other, which is surprising because NVIDIA, when we were here in the morning show, NVIDIA is still up. So yeah, AMD and NVIDIA still, the stronger ones. Let me check out on your, what's GFS, not to say your GFS, but GFS still positive today? So basically, flat on the day, GFS off that most recent move. Still was a positive name today. So, just identify the strength and the weakness, and you should be fine if you're trying to build strategies.
Continue along here, guys. I was going to mention that TSR Incorporated, remember yesterday, they projected or forecast higher revenue for their current quarter. Teeny tiny little company, 21 million on the market cap. That was the one that was 800,000 free float. So just be very careful with TSRI moving around right now as well. American Airlines popping up to the downside, in fact, on volume there, on a volume spike. Crocs back to day highs as well. So a few ways to go here as we head towards. We're going to have Justin on here, going to talk a little bit about some Sony action. Apparently PS4s no longer selling, even though they are making them still. We're going to talk about the NVIDIA Shield as well. But chip makers, for example, guys, pretty good trade today.
Apologies there, Brent. We're just sort of talking amongst ourselves and then missed something. But you mentioned TSRI, and I was going to get to that because I missed a move here. And look, when this pops up, so when we pay for locates, we get them for that day, and then you have to re-up the next day. So I was trading. My trade's going to show up here? No, they're not. So I was trading TSRI in yesterday's trade, but I had to then look to pay for the shorts again if I wanted to be involved. And of course, it was doing nothing when it opened up in this morning in the pre-market. So I had just gone over to get those locates because when it broke out here at 1175 being the average, being the afternoon's resistance after it fell off, I started to say, okay, if it breaks this level, I might look just above at 12 to see if it has a bit of a failure. And lo and behold, that's what happened. It broke 12 even, slammed back down, gave you a consolidation, but I didn't actually have the locates ready. And that's just being slow. And there was a lot of people have been talking. I keep seeing Tell show up in the chat. And I saw one person say but anyways, it's a nat gas play. I like their CEO, but overall, it's a nat gas play. I like them. I think they work well. For the last couple of days, I keep seeing it pop up. It's not really moving a heck of a lot, so I wonder if there's some social media chatter going on with Tellurian. But either way, TSRI, as fast as it came up, it's come right back down, low floater. But it's giving it back up. I just wish I had paid for the shorts a little bit sooner because that's a gorgeous setup. It failed, broke 12, and then gave you another look at it right here, 1185, 1190.
Yeah, I wonder if people are just trying to pump that name to us because, there's not a whole hell of a lot of volume in that one. So we'll wait to see. Vinco Ventures, another name ripping and rocking a little bit here. As we go, you can see Vinco Ventures today. The important thing to think about here with Vinco Ventures, in my opinion, is that we've already seen $3 before. So as you're looking at BBIG here on a daily chart, we've come up to $3. That's $3.30 to be exact. You had the 50-period moving average at $3.20. So if you're thinking hey, maybe this does have some more downside to it, upside to it, I would look at these key levels here, 330, 320, something like that, to get me excited on a short and or getting out at a long. We could still bump higher. No idea there. Vinco Ventures, again, another name that's been a mover. We've seen this go crazy before. So obviously some increased volume happening right now. But watch out for that 320 level. That's probably a decent area to think about some shorts.
Important topic to discuss today. We get a lot of questions about day trading versus investing and the differences between the two. A lot of people, if you joined us on the live show, talk a lot about why are we shorting AMD? Why are we shorting Apple? Why are we shorting NVIDIA on a day where we're also in almost the same breath saying, hey, there's still great longs long term? We're going to explain that today, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I think sometimes the easiest way to differentiate between day trading and your day trading and your investments is to think of an overall theme, right? So if you think that in the broad market for your long term, the overall theme is 2022, valuations matter in 2022. We're going to be in a raising rate environment in 2022. The central bank is going to be rolling back their balance sheet. So all of those things might have you favoring positions in some dividend stocks, some cyclicals, better valuation type names. So look, I'm going to happen to talk about Intel because it is moving here today as we're talking here. And you might like this for a hold or to be a good performer for your portfolio on Intel, and then it'll give you a bit of a long bias, right? So you'll think about where are my entry points for support and resistance, your 50 period, your 200 period, and then looking for those higher level breaks. Whereas on a day trade, I own shares of Intel and I love them this year. But as a day trade goes, if you quickly look at this, and again, from a day trader's perspective, you look at the gap this had here. This is post-market action. You've got a 1, 2, 3 triple top, right? And all I see there is forget about that. All I see is CPI number, triple top, and you should start to consider how you want to react with that level. It's about 56 and a quarter here. So with this level, I'm looking for two simple things. I was looking for a breakout, which never really happened or came in. And then I did miss an opportunity for a rollover short. Most of that probably has to do with the fact that I was in 5 or 6 shorts at the same time. And then it was a simple scalp by the dip. And this is the thing, like my level was back down here. If it could not hold the 55 level of support, I was getting out. It didn't matter that I think it's going to be a good story for the year. Like that doesn't make a difference. That is buy the dip in front of support. The breakout never happened. I'm in and out and I'm making those simple trades there. And that's what it's all about. Like you might lean towards technicals potentially for your day trading, but it's establishing that in, establishing that out. With your long term, you might be thinking more about a theme in general for what you want to buy and sell, but for your day trading, stick to executing trades.
Yeah, exactly. And you're going to have a different, risk to reward ratio, things like that, looking at different things. You talked about technicals. And I'm just going to go right to the sticky note. I mean, this is why I do this every single day here. And, and this kind of a note here, hard to be accurate when writing this ahead of CPI, right? Like that's not something that you're going to overly care about if you're looking for longer term investments. Sure, you're going to try to figure out the lay of the land. But in talking about Apple and Intel, Neil just talked about Intel, Ford or Lucid or AMC, these levels that we're writing down here are simply day trading levels, right? And what you're trying to do in a stock like Lucid is try to find, hey, what are some recent highs I'm looking at here? Where can we scalp in and out? Like there's no way that if you're taking this for a long-term investment, you'd be happy. I mean, even that $3 winner that we just took on this short, you wouldn't necessarily be happy with that if you're maybe a longer-term investor. These are simply put day trades. So I think when you're talking about trying to find out, like what is day trading versus investing and how do I sort of separate the two buckets? One thing, Neil just talked, great about different positions and management and things like that. One thing that I would like to add to this discussion is you don't necessarily want to trade your book. And we talk about that all the time. Like just because I may be long or short a Palantir or a Ford or something like that doesn't mean that you look at it the same way as you would when you're investing versus day trading. And this is why I talk about the 50 period moving average, looking for crosses, trying to find out like where to get in, where to get out. And like as a day trader, if I'm long here, as an investor, if I'm long, I may get out if we break below this 2350. But inside of this level, you know, you're going to see there's lots of opportunities to go, like I'm long 24 and getting out right now, scalping, right? But as an investor, you may want to look a little more broadly at some key levels here to say, hey, if this gets down and maybe this trend is broken and we start to head back down to the downside, these are more key levels for you. So I would just say use day charts, use 50-period moving averages, and then if you're day trading and scalping, then you want to use lesser time frames. And don't panic, you know, that's the big thing. If you're holding something for a long period of time, remember why you're in it. Oh, I throw back to you any minute now, Brendan, but quickly here, I bought today LLY. So I tweeted that out. I bought Eli Lilly today for the very first time. And the reason why, again, I'm not even looking at levels. It's dropped back down. We get negative news from Biogen. They also have an Alzheimer's drug coming out later this year. So I'm going to take a long. We're below the 50 period. I like Eli Lilly to come back up to the upside. So, you know, again, those are little things that you think about when you're investing, not necessarily day trading. What are the longer term ideas?
Opinions on fundamentals and fundamentals in general get set aside when we're talking about short-term trading. If you are strictly an intraday trader, we got to go where the action is, guys, and that's why you might see kind of contradicting trades if they're intraday trades versus longer-term positions. I hope that helps explaining day trading versus investing. Let's bring in our friend Justin Kozach standing by. Going to talk about a few hot topics that are floating around today. There he is, back in action today. The hoodie in play today, Justin. I love it.
Thanks, Brendan. Good to see you.
Good to see you as always as well. Let's talk about YouTube. A little bit of a headline just coming out this afternoon, in fact. You know, I mean, we've kind of discussed this in the past, but it seems to resurface, and we're talking about fact checking. We're talking about the ability for these websites, whether it's, you know, YouTube, whether it's Facebook, whether it's, you know, fill in the blank, to make sure the content is, you know, in fact what it should be.
Right. So Poynter issuing a letter today to the CEO of YouTube, asking them to take certain steps to combat disinformation and misinformation and the spread of it on their platforms. They've come up with 4 different solutions that they would like to see, including acting against repeat offenders who continually post this information, as well as extending future efforts to moderate this type of content in languages other than English. I mean, not everybody in the world speaks English, as we know. So YouTube's certainly struggling with that, particularly in parts of the world such as Brazil, where there has been cases of hate speech on the platform, human rights abuses in the Philippines, and then claims of electoral fraud in Taiwan, among many other places. So certainly YouTube's struggling with that. And listen, I mean, all the platforms struggle with it. I mean, you know, Facebook certainly struggles with COVID-19 misinformation and disinformation, unfortunately, and certainly some of the you know, some of the other larger ones as well, Twitter and Instagram and so on. So this is not new news, but an ongoing yet another chapter in the saga of internet platforms being used to spread disinformation and misinformation about a number of different topics. And unfortunately, what ends up happening in some cases is it costs the lives of people. So going to be interesting to see what they do now.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned Twitter there. There's plenty of, you know, stories floating around and plenty of incidents where, you know, Twitter accounts have been frozen or you know, deleted entirely because of the content that's being put out there. So, you know, what is the end result here? I mean, you mentioned Brazil, you mentioned, you know, some of the parts of the world where maybe language becomes a bit of a barrier in sorting this issue out. So, you know, what is the end result here? Do we get a longer term kind of look at how this overall structure is handled, I guess, how you upload, how, you know, does it have to go through approval process? What, you know, what are they saying is the end result?
Yeah, I mean, that's the part that's a little bit more murky is, I mean, you can, you know, it's easy to come to the table with, you know, with ideas for how to fix these problems, but the reality is much, I guess, much more grim, maybe. Maybe not the right choice of words, but certainly the reality is a little bit more complex. You can, you know, very easily share this information. Of course, you know, when you start to get down to, you know, when it starts to, I'm stumbling on my words. When you start to debunk false information, or try to debunk false information, or fact check, these things take time. Not to quote Jeezy, but these things take time. It takes time in order to respond to that, create the content. But you also have to be able to create processes to manage this content, to pull it down and pull down the right content, not just default to, well, we're not really sure if this is accurate, so we're going to pull it down and then figure it out. This is very much that very much then becomes a thing of shooting first and asking questions later, or what's more popularly known these days as censorship. So these things aren't very easy, and even with AI, the use of AI or artificial intelligence to be able to determine what is misinformation, what is disinformation, and what is truth, these things also require context, and you have to be able to train AI. AI is only as good as the individual or the individuals who are creating the intelligence to say, this is what's true and this is what isn't. So long term, who knows what this looks like? For right now, these are great ideas, and I think they're on the right track. But these things are much easier said than done.
Yeah, going to take some time to, I guess, get to a point where that's even, there's the ability to come up with some sort of solution. I mean, I can tell you firsthand, we're on YouTube right now. These things go through all kinds of checks before, they're able to even be put on the public side of things if you're trying to upload stuff. So still work to do, though, apparently, on this note for not only YouTube, but the rest of these platforms. Something that I am very excited about, because I am the owner of an NVIDIA Shield, Justin. Android 11 coming to NVIDIA Shield users.
Right. So Android, yep, as you said, Android 11 OS coming to NVIDIA Shield. So anybody who has one of those is the proud owner of probably the most upgraded home entertainment device in probably recent history, or maybe at least the last 10 years. Also coming compatibility for Bluetooth or certain Bluetooth headsets. And you can also connect any of your digital movie catalogs through Amazon, Apple TV, and Vudu, and then play it all through Google Play. So smart move on their part to kind of bring it all in together into one platform. And IMDb TV is free. And now you're also, Google is offering this, what is this? US-based customers, the Shield TV owners, US-based Shield TV owners, 6 months of Peacock Premium. So NBC Universal's, I guess, is their TV streaming platform. You can watch great TV shows such as I think it's Yellowstone. Yeah, Yellowstone, an amazing show for anybody who hasn't watched it, or anybody who has. Incredible content. So, yeah, I would like to get my hands on one of these things. It'd be kind of neat. See what the deal is. See what the big deal is all about.
There's been
today.
Yeah, there's been so much talk about this space, and so much competition, obviously, in this space. But I can tell you firsthand, I've had this thing for 4 or 5 years now, probably, and these things are workhorses. Like, they will do whatever you want and never have an issue. And I'm saying this now, and hopefully Android 11 won't change that, but highly recommend, highly enjoy NVIDIA Shield. So I'm excited to see that today for NVIDIA. I mean, obviously, never dull moment. I feel like we've talked 2 or 3 times this week about NVIDIA.
Yeah, they making major moves, as they say. So we'll see where they go from here. They certainly are very good at getting press for themselves. Now, whether or not it's negative or positive depends on whether or not we're talking about their famed line of GPU cards or their home entertainment devices. So, bit of both worlds there for sure.
He is at Trader TV Justin on what am I saying? Twitter. I was going to say Trader TV. Go check him out, guys. At Trader TV Justin on Twitter. He'll fill you in on all you need to know on the tech side. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Brendan. We'll see you tomorrow.
Take care. Good stuff. Yeah, Sean, you have a Shield as well.
Yeah, I love the NVIDIA Shield. I mean, I think it's a huge workhorse, and it's awesome. I love it. I can't be happier with that. I do have the Samsung Q90, so I do use there, and I have it up in my room now anyways, doesn't matter. That's that, but I do love the NVIDIA Shield. It's great to have an update, but let's update some of the positions. So I have two things to sort of, we'll just go like this because Ms. V get well soon, hopefully back in the office later this week. But there it is. So Rivian, man, we finally just, actually, I was looking and, for some reason I'm up more money on Rivian than I am on Lucid, which when you look at, it's just crazy, but I mean, a big movement down. We're really, really confident about this trade here. A good short and out, and then we reshort that again and take that other dollar. This time we were like, no, if this came back in here, we were literally, you could see 85.15, and I just was like, not gonna wait for these little bottom wicks like we had before. I just sat here kind of in the middle of this move, took that out at 85.15, so that's out there for that dollar, and then, or almost a dollar, about 75 cents. And then unfortunate news, we did get out, which is fine. Lucid there for that big move there, 47.50 out, now 45. So $2.50 on that trade. It does go as low as 44. So we give up a dollar, let's just say we give about 80 cents there, moving it back in. And then the other one though, dun dun dun. I haven't hit that in a while. I really like that one. And the cash cow just keeps on dapping up here as Ford. Yes, sir. We were actually waiting at VWAP. I'm now out. I didn't have the right amount of shares sitting there, so we get out, so now I can't enjoy the move back. But I was like really, on Prad's Memes and Mover Show, or Market Mover Show, midday. I think it should be called like Midday Movers. Why not? I mean, whatever, it's the same name. We talked about going long here on Ford and protecting that 24 bottom. Well, Merry Christmas right there. A nice little win for Ford. Wish we still had on, but again, wasn't managing properly the share sizes, so we are out. First out there, next out right there. Nice trading for that one. And now I'm flat city. So Neil is the one in a bunch of positions, and it's 3 o'clock now.
They're all old, I don't know. I'm just basically sitting in the money in a bunch of shorts that are in the money. So it's
okay. Well, hey,
there's some stuff that's moving for sure though. And I was gonna talk about DWAC, and I'll come back to it. But look, again, it broke 69. I'm waiting for 70s, and then it pulled right back. So it's waging its war. But next ID here, NXTD, pushing through $4. Of course, it just went to 420. It wasn't at 420, but now 420 is the high of the day. 419, I guess, specifically. But this is a name that we've had some familiarity with before. Once you take through that recent level at 380, which that's the last break that we just had, you have to start thinking about, back to the daily chart, this $5 level, lower high. I do think you're going to run into resistance to that price, especially going into, it is already power hour here. It's going to run into resistance. That's just usually the way it goes. Up in 6 million volume, that's fantastic, but if you look at what happens here, usually you do get muted pullbacks on the way in. However, look, it's got a couple of days usually before it starts to die out. So even if it does pull back off of $5, a lot of times when this gets going, it has 1 or 2 days before it tends to fall back to the downside. Yeah, I'm still in, and it's not too sexy. Obviously, that DD trade, and this was like, don't get me wrong. The news on DD is positive, that you're going to be able to get, that it's going to be listed after it gets delisted. It's going to be listed over in Hong Kong. But it was a sell the news event off a resistance level up at 535. It popped at the open, and someone was asking, did I think that when Intel didn't break out, that was a short? I think that's a short setup when you get a consolidation, a clear consolidation, an area for a break, it not breaking out and testing at 930, because what happens is people are buying into that breakout. In this case, they're buying into good news on DD into the breakout, and when it doesn't happen, that's people that have stops that are day traders. So as it gets stopped out, it gets stopped out here when it breaks the pre-market lows. And when it breaks $5, you see it kind of capitulate through $5, and we take the bottom out there at $4.95. So that's the kind of thing. You're always looking for the other side of the trade. Who are you executing against? Like, how are you going to get your win? So when there isn't that breakout, or when there is a failed breakout, it can be a good short entry for a day trade, whereas you might not care that happened on Intel if you're holding it for the long term. So DD's one. Affirm is right back down to the lows. And I know the market's not falling here, but this is the, whoops.
Market is falling a bit, I think.
Well, not by much. We're still a quarter of a percent, or just under a 1/4% now on the ES, and the NASDAQ 0.33. And we're in a very, very tight range on the markets. But Affirm, you're seeing slide to the downside. And it's kind of like if we're not going up, then Affirm's coming down.
Right.
So it's in that bucket, like the bucket I keep talking about, like the either ridiculous high valuations or not making any money yet. And for me, that's why I kind of took Affirm. It broke the lows. I was then able to get it right back in here off of like this consolidation yesterday, and these bottoms in front of VWAP. I've done some scalping of the position, but the whole time I've been maintaining a short to ensure that we get a piece of it if we do fall over and break to the downside a little bit heavier. So I think DWAC is your mover of the day. I do have my eyes on NXTD in case it wants to take out that 420 level. It's getting pretty close, but DWAC 70. It's putting in higher lows all the way up here, so it does feel like unless we crack VWAP, I think I will get the short in front of 70 where I'm just looking for a tight stop. The thing about the long is it's easier to determine when I look at that 70 level where I'm wrong. And when there's only like 55 minutes left in the session to put the trade on, you have to make that determination. It's not the same as buying and holding DWAC until the 19th, right? Like that's a very different story because you can have a stop all the way down to like $60 or something if you're looking for that kind of an entry. But when you're day trading, I need to know where can I get out in the next 20 or 30 minutes if that level doesn't hold, and then where's my reward going to be? And if I can't figure that out, then you can't really put the trade on because suddenly you're just guessing, and there's limited amount of time for these things to work. So DWAC, NXTD, NXTD, those are the two that I think we'll be watching here for some actionable trades in Power Hour.
Short the DWAC, people are saying. Yeah, I don't know. And I think Neil just made a very key point, guys. It's like, if you're joining us for the first time, welcome. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Oh, yeah, let's do a quick like thing here. We're going to fix this because we don't want to keep showing this every day. But 400 likes, 3,000 watching. If you guys can, come on, we've done some pretty good work for you here. I think giving you some big-time winners. Neil's in the positions as well. We just hit Ford, we hit Lucid, we hit Rivian. We talked about a lot of your names. So please, guys, we'll talk about Funware right now. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. I mean, we're trying to join and grow the community. So if you could do that, that'd be fantastic. Funware. So I just think you just keep loading up and wait for that rip. I mean, I don't really know what to tell you guys other than, Funware's been sort of, this is a daily chart. And I just think that, why not? Why not take shots down here? 260, 270. I mean, buy now, a starter position. I mean, could it break to the high side when it's President's Day, right? Is when they're going right, the February 20 something?
Is it 19th?
Is it the 19th? Okay.
Was it 21st?
You mentioned, I think it's the 21st.
Because the Lucid expiration's the 19th.
Yeah. When you mentioned 19th, that's why I was like, okay, he's talking about Lucid. I looked over, and you're talking about DWAC. But
we're Canadian, I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we apologize. We don't have Prime Minister Day, which I don't know if anyone would even take that. Well, people would take it off. But okay. So right now, we have the same look. We have the same political differences, I guess, in the United States. I think ours is less polarizing probably, but you can see down here anyways, Funware. I just want to say that, if you're trying to load up here for a potential move up, we haven't really seen it open much lower than where it closed. I don't really find out too much risk here in Fun. So I just think that if you could take a 260 bid, 290, $3, something like that bid right now for Funware, and then you just sort of hope that something like this will happen once, more talk comes, more details for that. The difference between DWAC and Fun is just the price. So I would say the same kind of thing for both of these. DWAC, but again, you're way off on DWAC. You don't really have this safe bottom here. And if you do, it's like at 50s and 51, 52. And of course, you're at 68. So to take a shot right now on DWAC, I think is still fine. I mean, you're taking out some of these levels again. It's just you don't have the bottom cover that you do on PHUN. So again, assess your risk. And I think that that's really the most important is where's your out going to be? Because, hey, where's your out going to be when you win? Whatever, that's the best problem to have. It's more like, this isn't working out. Now where do I get out? And would I short any of these? Nepa. Would not short any of these names, no matter what you think of the stock price, unless you're intraday trading like Neil and I. That's completely a different beast. But you don't want to wake up tomorrow and all of a sudden this thing's at 90. We've seen it happen before. It actually went up to 175. Oh, right here, 175. So, how about that? $6, $10, $8, $20, $25, $50, $90, 175. So just be very, very careful. I don't know if that's going to happen again, but could easily do that. So watch out for a short on DWAC.
Yeah, exactly. And it's one of the things that should be said. Like, you'll see me in short positions day trading all the time. I don't hold overnight shorts in my own account. It's a totally different ball game. I just got locates on NXTD, and it just broke. It just tested 420 here, so 19 was the high. It finally ticked to 20. Another failure. I'm now sitting. I might take a consolidation around 10. Otherwise, I want to see if I can't get 15s. And I thought I just saw DWAC. No, it didn't. Okay. yeah, for some reason, I don't know. I guess I misread. I kind of thought DRX was pushing 69. 69 like 50s and 60s, but it was 68.50, so I misread that. That's still hanging around those lows, but NXID, that 420 level still holding. Looks like it could be fading off of that. And we'll see. I know you guys are going to hit the graphic. We'll see if I have to pay down and maybe take 410s to the short side. It would be the same out. I would just much prefer if I could have gotten those 15s. I might still keep some orders there and see if I can't get the better price. But either way, looks like NXTD failing at that 420 level as I try to get some short off of it.
So, yeah, I was just looking here at Cardano because, yeah, it's starting to go a little bit here. Shout out to Mike talking about that down, trying to break through this 130 area. Obviously, it's been a disaster for a lot of these altcoins, including Cardano, right? I mean, but I'm still waiting for this 150 level to come through. Look at these bounces at $1, man. I mean, it just keeps on happening. Yeah, a pretty significant level. I mean, a lot of these coins, honestly, they're called kind of like SH something coins for a reason. And although I don't want to put Cardano in that bag because obviously there is a lot of use cases here, you could read up on it. Maybe we'll do a special on crypto and what we think, but I just recently bought Solana at 140 yesterday or 141. Interested to see what that's at right now. And then I like Matic. Someone was talking about who was it? Was it Pratt or somebody was talking about gas? Must have been on Ethereum for NFTs. That's why I'm in Matic. So I really like Matic there for that Polygon. Hold on, let me just. Okay, we have Brendan quickly actually.
I just want to mention, guys, we're going to get the first relatively large IPO of the year tomorrow. In fact, on Thursday, TPG. Equity fund coming to market tomorrow, said to price between 28 and 31, which is the bottom end of the range, apparently. Still $9.5 billion coming to market tomorrow. So they were initial investors in Airbnb and Uber, in Spotify. So PE firm coming tomorrow, guys. TPG on the NASDAQ.
Yeah, what was that IPO today? Hills? Or what?
You know what? What's interesting is that we were talking about the small IPO today, and that actually halted to the downside. Remember the one we were watching?
Yeah.
But TPG definitely going to be on the radar. Of course, I think a lot of people are waiting for, and we're going to get this year, is Reddit certainly going to be one. But it's good to get back into that game. We know there's some awesome day trades when it comes to trading in the IPO game. Look, the only new position you'll see from me, I did get the short at 409. I was sitting here and someone asked like what percentage of, I saw in the chat, like what percentage of trades are executed in the market are by algos. And I don't, like dark pool fills, that can be anywhere from like 30 to like 50% depending. I was just talking about it with a floor manager in a chat, and I was going to say about 80. He said like 75 to 90 seemed reasonable. I think anywhere in that pocket makes a lot of sense, but dark pools definitely run the gambit. So a lot of times you can sit there on a lit book, like an offer at 414, and then it actually came up and it gets to that price level, and then there might be some like 15 print that goes off in the dark, and it doesn't mean that you can get filled at 14. It's the only way that it'll ever trade through you, some of these late reporting prints or dark pools. So this one's starting to come off. I wish I had gotten this fill at 414, but 415 was a dark pool fill. And yes, algos are definitely very prevalent. And the easiest way to be able to tell how much of the market is controlled by algos is when you get massive moves. The other day on Rivian, and I'm gonna digress a little bit here. And apologies if you guys don't want me to, but if you looked at that flush, and I wish my trades don't show up here, but when Rivian flushed back on the 6th, down from like 92 in a matter of minutes to 75. A lot of that moved down. Yes, there was a lot of selling, and a lot of names were coming off at that point. But Rivian specifically, the bid was gonzo. It used to be when a lot of human traders were the more active in the markets, market makers would come in and they'd step in probably a little bit faster on the bid of these companies. And then the algos, they'll just pull the bid. When they're going to lose, they just start pulling bids. And then when you get a wipeout like that, the long reversal can be just gigantic, and that's what it was. Like it snapped down, and as fast as it went down, it went back up. That's why the flash crash happened, and you get mini flash crashes all the time. That's why we get trade halts. That's why we get breakouts and squeezes, because so much is algo driven these days that when the liquidity gets pulled away, Well, I mean, you see people run to the exits and they hesitate to get it back in, and it's a little bit slower. When we started trading back in the early 2000s, certainly these things didn't happen quite as often, and when they did, the gaps would get filled back in a heck of a lot quicker, which made it trickier to trade if you were trying to, if you were trying to catch a gigantic win, it was a little bit easier to catch a bid because you'd physically see liquidity come in a little bit more obviously than now when it does drop out. So like I said, new position on NXID. It hasn't really moved too much here. Affirm continues to the downside. I think I'm going to need, if I want to get a home run here, I'm actually going to cancel my bid because the market is continuing to come down. I'm bidding in front of 79, but with the market barely moving and Affirm testing the lows, like here's the NASDAQ. I mean, if the NASDAQ breaks 15.85 and we start heading southbound and even turn red, Affirm could hit 78. Forget about the 79 level. So it's working in the money now. I'm going to give it some room to breathe because if we're going sideways and it's working, what's going to happen when we head downside, if we head downside?
Yeah, so, crazy day today in the markets. If someone said it's crazy because, I'm feeling fine. I mean, it's just people asking, I'm not in any positions. There's something wrong with me. But no, normally I am like in Neil's positions there. Someone said, Neil, you have too many. Start getting out. But whatever, man. As long as the setups are there, don't do anything. I'm going to go long on AMD. So a breakthrough 137.50. I think we'll try the long here. I mean, it looks like it's supposed to be 137.60 or so. Maybe 70 there on a break. But I'm just going to play with the 50 level. Get a little higher than 50. It's right here. So, I will recognize that the last time we broke 50, we stopped at 70. So if I have to scalp a little bit, but what, 20 cents? I mean, I'm not in this for 20 cents. So let's see. I will take 20 cents, but hopefully if it breaks, we can sort of retest. And all I'm looking for really, I kind of scoff at 20 cents, but I'd take 50. Like if we took a 137.50 break, which we're going to, up here to 138 or so. Let's just see, man. Maybe like we called the NASDAQ moving to the downside earlier when it was up here. And it looks like that's right. But look what's just happened. We've bounced a little bit here off 15.6 or whatever this is, 15.870 there. So we have bounced. So I am thinking that the NASDAQ does have a chance to go. And I want to be long what I believe one of the stronger names here, AMD. We know that can move when it wants to. So hopefully the NASDAQ gets this thing a little spiced up and we'll go long on AMD. Let's just check back on some of the stocks that we emptied out on. So Ford, great buys down here, 24. Boom, that was on there. That was also on our sticky note. There we go. So now we're into AMD. So let's watch this together. AMD starting to move to the upside right now, breaks out through that 50. We're going to see where it goes now. I don't know, man. I mean, should we take 15 cents on this real quick? Nah, let's see if we get back to the upside. We already ticked out 137.70 there. We'll identify that. Maybe we can get some out at like 80.85 in and around there. But let's see if this works for AMD. A quick little scalp here. And this is the difference. We talked about, making a day trade versus making an investment here. So this call right here on AMD, I love AMD, right? But we're just trying to get this through here. If the market wants to rip up, great. If not, I'm going to dump this at 137. So it's going to be like a 1-to-1. I just like our chances here better on AMD that we go to the upside than we fade back down here. So we're going to let this one breathe a little bit. If we're not lucky enough to have this tank down and break through this 137, I think that's going to be it. This is a trade that we're in now, and thank you for sort of riling me up there and getting me into a name. But before I throw it back to
I'm already jamming in my head to fabulous because you said breathe.
I said it again. Oh God. So what about breathing easy yesterday? As we sold out of our TDOC yesterday, not all of it, but we raised some capital today for TDOC. We got out of that one 87.80 or 86.80. I'll double check those. Either way, it doesn't matter. We got out yesterday and now down 5%. So we save ourselves that 5% on TDOC yesterday. And then and again, we're trying to buy higher quality names that can run, right? And so we're going to get out of TDOC yesterday. Not a good name in this environment, right? And then we starting for the first time, we bought some Eli Lilly. That was at 1 o'clock. So we bought some Eli Lilly. It was down here, 252. I actually tweeted it out so we can find that price. Yesterday's TDOC sell puts me into, I mean, here's the sell yesterday that we tweeted it out right here, taking advantage of this move up in TDOC. TDOC was up 7% yesterday. We'll take that, right? Take the 7% up and down 5% today. So that's a 12% switch. And then right here, where was it? We bought, here it is right here. Small position started, I didn't say the price, started in Eli Lilly today. They were down 4%. And I tweeted as soon as I made it. So that was roughly 3 hours ago. So yeah, so we're already in the money, $2 or so. Nice little bump there. Wow, in Eli Lilly. A nice bump to the upside. Again, a 2% dividend and just a higher quality name. So let's see if that switch works from TDOC into Eli Lilly.
I was on the bid of Eli Lilly when we went to our meeting today. I just never got to fill. I probably wouldn't have got to fill if I was more aggressive because I was trying to catch it off the bottom. Next ID, I put in the chat, and there was one, like I'm not saying this, like right after I put in the chat that there was an iceberg order at $4 and I took some out at 401. There was, and then right after it bounced up to 405, retested, held for a little bit, and then finally got broken. So next level down, 390, then VWAP here at 380. Pretty simple. Like the structure of this is not overly complicated. I ended up not getting any 415s. I can cancel that. I ended up getting only 410s in front of 420. So I get some out at 4. I get some out. I'll try to get some out in front of 390, and then VWAPs here at 380. So relatively simple structured trade, and sometimes it's just easier to work with it that way. I know I'm in. I know you'll see a bunch of positions on, but I'm not really talking about all of them because it's like, okay, if you don't have a reason to get out, don't necessarily do it. In the morning, I did have HYZN for a bit of a short trade. And if you just quickly look on the daily chart, like this is resistance up here at 7. On the 15 minute, you will see what I like a little bit more, which was this previous level at about 675, like this close and this higher low. And then once you gapped to the downside, retesting this area, and then once it fails here, it's like, yeah, okay, we'll add some at 650 in front of the 3/4. And again, if I'm risking 50s to quarters, first out in front of 25, take some out in front of 6, and it's still in the downward trend. Like it hasn't been able to catch much of a bid. It's just been sliding along and falling. I still have a bid down here in front of 575 to see if I can't grab that next quarter down. But it's sitting in the money. It's showing no signs of bouncing. The volume is still pretty low. So, it's not really moving. I jump over to NXTD because it was moving. I'm looking at DWAC because it's moving. But anything else that's working in the money, you might as well just hold on to it. That's why Sean held loose it all day. Like it's one of those, and Arun says this all the time. If you don't have a reason to get out, just because you're in the profit, if you're in profit in a trade, you don't have to get out just because you're in the money. Like you can hang on to it. If your reason for being in changes, maybe something were to happen in the market, like in a firm, which I'm sitting in, if we broke back out and we're retesting, 16,000 on the NASDAQ and screaming again, or the imbalances were about to come out, then maybe I would cover a little bit shy of what my target might be. But other than that, you just sort of let your winners ride. I might have to get away from the notion that I'm going to get an entry here in DWAC. It does feel like the volume is really starting to taper off, so it might not be making that break yet. It really has to start getting more interesting. It's hard for you guys to see, but yeah, the volume really tapering off. It was starting to really churn. When it took out 69 here, you'll see when I put in my offer in front of 70, and this was right when it made the volume spike through 69, and I was pretty sure it was going to continue through and then give the short right in front of 70. I'd risk like 20 cents, see if it came back a buck. That hasn't happened, and volume really started to die down. Tesla still breaking, but even its volume is tapering off here, but holding above that 1100 level, so a fantastic day for Tesla. Might not get to that 5% mark. And then one other name that I think we were talking about a little bit earlier on in the session, but didn't really get back to. We talked about oil, I think, in our little rundown there. Yeah, but that's basically back to flat on Oxy. I thought there might be a chance it ramps back up. Not getting there either.
Yep, there it is, guys. So what we did on AMD there was we just defended that 137. Comes down, man. We get the fill right there, 137.20, right into this level. Normally I'd be like 20.25, but we take the 20 fill there, and then it rips right back up to the upside, giving us a wicked average price now, 137.30. So, first in 50, next in 20. That's going to give us that 30 price. So there it is. Boom. We'll take out 20 pennies there on that move up to 137.49. We just took it out. Now let's see if we can take out some of these highs, man. There it is. Sometimes you're in a trade and it's like you didn't mean for this to happen, but there it is. A nice little win here on AMD on the reload there. We were just going to defend this 137. It happens to fall back down and now right back up. So, hey, we could still lose on this trade. Like, let's not be, oh wow, it's such a great trade. We'll see where it goes. But again, happy with this play, man. Again, right back in. We reloaded that trade, and there it is for you. So yeah, we'll take a piece out there, and now let's see now if we can get 80s or something like that up here in the middle. We'll kind of try to do the same thing. We average down there, see if we can take an out in and around here, man, like 80 or so as part of the out, and then we'll see if we can hit the home run heading into the close. Remember though, the NASDAQ, like I don't have, what time is it? It's it's still lots of time actually, so okay. It's 3:22, thought it was a little bit later. I don't have too many expectations here other than noticing this bounce off of 15,860 or whatever this level is right here. We could draw that on the NASDAQ. So just look out to see if we crack below there. 15,860 even, we'll just call it that. If it makes its way below, then obviously our AMD will get out and then we don't have to worry about it. But let's put a little bit of profit in our pocket there on AMD, and now let's see if the NASDAQ takes that out. If not, then here we go. Then I do believe that we can get something a little bit higher on AMD. So far, so good on that name. And every time I say so far, so good, it reminds me of one stock, and that is SoFi. SoFi, a great stock for me today. I was trying to find the minute chart. There it is right here. So on the minute chart, again, long, each one of these is 20%. We talked about that on the show all the way back up. So long at 1405, first out 10s, next out 15s, next out 20, next out 25. So we just did it every 5 cents on the way up. Whatever, man. We talked about scalping, and we did that exactly on SoFi. And then we're long at 405. So every 5 cents on the way up, we're out. There's a 14 break out on 14. So with slippage, 7 cents out. So 5, 10, 15, 20, you add all those up, that doesn't, again, to take a 5 cent hit on SoFi, not too shabby. But look where it bounced, 13.75. We have to note that. We love trading around quarters, so we will look at SoFi tomorrow at these levels. And it's just barcoding right now. Like, it's going to be hard for Neil and I to sit here and, make trades when there's just not a lot happening.
Vinco.
Yeah, BBIG, did that touch 320 yet?
See, that's the thing. Like, Vinco hasn't touched 320 yet.
Almost.
I'm pulling up the 15-minute. Like, this is the cluster that I'm sort of looking at. Like, it's got a 307 top here, and you're going to see it right there, 307, right into about like 330. So that's your key price area for a target and for a bit of a reversal. And why? Oh, wait a minute. And did not mean to go long in that. Actually, I'll show you right now, as we're live trading, the opportunity cost of doing what I just did, paying for shorts, I got to go accept them right now, while other things are happening, was next ID. I ended up getting short. I added to my position back in, but I had taken some profit out. So because I didn't account for that by adjusting my position size, my stop ended up triggering me long, which I immediately get out of because I didn't actually want a long position on that stock through 420. I just intended to cover I had short. But Vinco, it's getting close to that range, but it's not at the key level that I
There
want.
it is.
Oh, I said 420?
You did.
I did say 420. Yeah.
Sound the alarm.
I did.
The 420 is in the building. Okay, so it looks like NASDAQ is just crack-a-lacking right now. We are right at that level that we talked about. So we are going to get ready for AMD to come out of the account. Unfortunately, that looks like that's what's going to happen here as AMD is starting to go back up. And that's why, man, we change out, like when we talk about scalping and day trading, like literally just put on that hat. It's easy for us to do that. But as you can see, we took a little piece out there. And when you get an instant bump up like that, I'm taking that every day because we don't know. I don't have that crystal ball. I can't predict the next 10 minutes, although we're trying to do that for you. That is a hard thing to do. Yeah, Vinco Ventures right now testing that $3 area, and we did talk about that. Oh, I did want to do this because getting some love here is my cat. So what's up to William? William the cat right here, just stone cold chilling right now. Like, yo, what up, William? Like, how's life, bro? Like, just stone cold straight chilling. And I do want to give a big shout. Yeah, he does look like a panther, actually. What's up, Matthew? This dog's so much better. Okay, wait till you see my dog, by the way. You want to talk about a chilling out dog. But here we go. Shout out to Alexis there. Beautiful, man. Love this kind of a dog. Amazing. Don Cherry's old dog there. Great little move there. Love that. Thank you so much. But again, man, tweet at me. I'll put this in the chat. Tweet at me your animal. What is your animal doing? But yeah, this dude doesn't he look like a leopard there? Like, honestly. But anyways, we love you, William. Shout out to William. Great cat. I think he's about 3 or 4 years old. It was a rescue cat. So we rescued him from where I'm from. The streets of Brampton. So that cat, straight from the streets of Brampton, I'm trying to keep it real. When you're from the streets, they say you can take the guy out of the hood.
You're not from the streets of
Shut up, Neil. They can take the guy out of the hood, but they can't take the hood.
Don't come on, son.
I'm from the streets of Brampton.
Okay, but you're gonna talk about the streets and like whose house we rolling to swim at in high school, bro?
Who cares, man? We made it. I'm from the streets.
Whose pool were we chilling at?
So put it this way.
Yo, man, all I said is
if Jay-Z
we would
invites
chill
you,
to the Katina house to go jam in the pool in the summer. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
I'm saying I'm from the, it's like if you chill out, yeah, exactly. If you chill out in Jay-Z's pool, right? Okay, sure. He's still from the streets. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying.
Fair enough.
I'm just trying to keep it real right now. But anyways, straight up, William, very, very good. William the cat right now, chilling out. Oh, and
pool, man.
You'll see my dog, by the way. I'll get my wife Marissa to message you.
And I'm gonna call you some more. And the best part, I tell us every single time the pool comes up. What's so cool is the Catinas would be on vacation, and they'd be like, look, you guys could swim. The boys could still swim in the pool. They would never leave the patio door open now, but they would leave the patio door open and be like, yo, there's food in the fridge. No, I'm not even playing with you. Like,
I don't know what my mom was doing.
Burgers in the fridge, and we'd be able to jam down, swim in the pool, even when they weren't home, which was pretty cool. So we had a good time in high school. A firm is starting to break these lows. I've hung on to this, and someone said in the chat, 79.40 is support. I agree. I just think I want to hold on because if we start to get a rollover, we're like sliding downside here in the overall market. And if it breaks, I think there's no reason to just be hasty and get out of this trade. I've re-entered NXTD, so it's another failure at 420. Look, if I see a failed breakout like this, I'm likely to put the same trade back on risk to reward, which is basically, I know this time I have 408 instead of 409, but the principle is exactly the same. Cover some in front of 4, cover some in front of 390, and then 380. Brendo.
Another volume alert. Saw a few people talking about Opfy Incorporated, which is OPFI. This is a little DeFi company, 5% today. Back to 6 here, which was the original kind of pivot after that last little run up to 635, 640. But decent volume still down here for OPFI.
So I do want to give a shout out to Mike. Thank you so much for the super chat. It's like saying, I guess me and you, Neil, we are lucky to have this relationship. Not often do you find those. I mean, that's the thing. Like, that's why, the show works like that. I think it works when we have Arun on and so on and so forth. It's just, we're sitting here having a good time. So I think that's ultimately that's what it's all about. For those of you, I'm just going to paste my dog here and then we'll show it on the show. Belle, for you dog lovers. So here comes Belle right now. We'll tweet that out. And for those of you that were like, hey, man, show some love to some dogs. So here we go. Right now, we call this up for you live on the show. Here's Belle. What's up, Belle? So Belle and William are actually really great friends. So Belle is a cockapoo, and believe me when I tell you, she is probably the sweetest dog. When I pull up in my driveway, I hear her in the house with crazy screeches and screams and everything like that. Belle is an absolutely crazy, love that dog. And my old dog, I'm gonna see if I can find a picture of him too, is Guido the pug. He has passed on, but Guido the pug, definitely a spoiled dog as well. So again, thank you so much for all the love. I'll tweet that there, and hopefully you guys can have a look here at Belle. So Belle, named by my kids, Neil, after who? Who do they name it after if her name is Belle?
If your kids did?
Yeah.
If it was you did it, I
Think about if your daughter would name it Belle. What would that be after?
Is it Bella?
No. Keep going. It's Frozen, but not Frozen. Anyways,
but
it's
Belle,
the princess.
Princess Belle.
Yeah, it's the princess in, now I can't even think about it. Beauty and the Beast.
Thank you. I was blanking on it too.
Beauty
but
and
you know what's crazy though? What's interesting is because I'm my daughter's in a phase of the new stuff, so
Let's go long Disney.
I don't get to watch enough of the old goodies. So I was just talking about a firm possibly breaking, and look, you know what? The NASDAQ just turned a little bit, and a firm broke the low. So now I might take it out in front of 79, because if we're not gonna, I'll show you I should talk about the NASDAQ. Show you the NASDAQ. Zoom in. I use a 60-minute chart here. You know what? So we just bounced off of that same 15.8. We were talking about this level in the pre-market. This 15.85. It just bounced off this and kind of headed a little bit back into the upside. So we're still range bound. Despite that, we are breaking the bottom on a firm. That's good. But if we turn off of 79 even with a half an hour to go, I should just bank this profit. On NXTD, I once again scalped. I can hit a key. I once again just jump right back into the same trade. False break, get back in, get out some in front of 4 even. So the same game is going to work here. I am now looking to cover possibly more aggressively some of this DD if it doesn't really want to continue to flush. The firm's at least moving. DD's barcoding here, and it may be in the money, but it's not doing anything, so I have to get out of it. And then the same thing with, I'm not in DWAC, but I'm getting very close, and I'll probably cancel this trade that I want to put on, which is that stop, and then just sort of sit in front of 70 even. It has a chance to go, but the closer we get to 4 p.m., I can still put the trade on. I just don't want to be sitting there with the order out as we get closer to the end of the day, and part of that is because, you know what, I'm human, and I forget orders just like anybody else, and I would hate to have that trigger at like 3:55 because I forgot to cancel it. Every now and then that does happen to you, and I have a few positions on here, so going to try to avoid that problem by canceling my DWAC offer. Brendan.
My daily chart not working, but that's okay. We can show you the intraday chart here. CFVI, guys, back to day highs on volume as well. The Rumble SPAC, if you recall, 1275 now on volume for, again, CFVI.
But that with DWAC, that might have been a good one to look at as well. CFVI with Rumble. So again, Rumble killing it apparently with the subscribers and the numbers. So we'll see if that can come out. But a nice little break there on some of those numbers from Rumble. So we'll wait to see if, again, you know, I like fun, and we talked about why, just because there is a bottom that's not too far away. But CFVI isn't too bad either, bouncing off of 11 a couple times there. So you could see this was, I guess, a SPAC, obviously. Not, I guess, is still a SPAC. And you can see down here 970. It has to have a fair value of 10. So your bottom isn't too low here on CFVI. So if you want to take a risk in something, I think this could be done. We will go, we'll stop the pet talk quickly, but I did say if you did send in some of your pictures, ooh, a nice little black hat as well there. What's up to Kelly? Thank you for sharing that as well. What's up to Winston, my homie Winston? What up, Winston? And then there we go again. I don't think we got a name there. We just got, that was the baby. I won't say show more replies in case there's something nasty under there, but thank you again for the support on Twitter. I mean, it means a lot to us. But okay, so AMD, we did get a little spicy with it. It breaks, but not barely breaks, so we didn't get out of that. You know, if it does take out a little bit lower than this, 136.93, I mean, we gave it that extra shot there. It did come back. We could have took profit or at least flat. Actually, just flat. Came back to 137.30 there, so it did come back into the money flat for us. But again, this is going to be about a 40-cent hit, which is well worth the risk, man. I mean, I thought AMD did have a chance to go. Let's see if the NASDAQ does hold this level. Looks like it's trying to do that, so the only position I'm in should be in a DWAC or a fund, but not. So we'll just hold out on AMD and hope that we can continue to go to the upside. If I don't know what I should do, but I could share this. I don't know how to do this on a new window, open a new window. This is going to be too big. Let me see if I can show you. Whoa, there's Guido. So this is Guido the pug. He's passed along, but this guy was a pure pimp as well. So shout out to you, Guido the pug. Continuing 250, there we go. That's a little bit better there. Great. I mean, this guy's my man as well. Guido the Italian pug, we used to call him. So passed along, and then we got Bell. So whoops, there it is. So nice respect to Guido and all you pug owners. The thing is, pugs are super cute, and Guido was in commercials and everything, man. This guy was like prime time looking pug. But I was going to say, if you love pugs, that's great. So do I. But they are horrible shedders. So they have 2 coats. And if you don't realize that about a pug, man, when you get one, get ready because they shed everywhere. Pug Nation, what's up, Guido?
You know what's interesting though is like a lot of times I get bad allergies, but I never had an issue with Guido, oddly enough. And he used to actually hang around our trading floor back in the day.
Yeah,
so,
man.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, every time I see Guido, it's like one of those. It was so much fun. Like you think, why would you have a dog on a trading floor? And now that I think about it, wires and everything, probably not a good idea. But it was a lot of fun. Brendo's got something for us here.
IMRN, little low float stock from this morning, guys. We were talking about just popping back up on volume through 4 there. Might be nothing to see here, but a heads up, some buyers coming back into IMRN.
My slide crashed again. And my chart just crashed again.
Oh, no.
You know what's crazy about that? It's like, Brendan, man, usually when you talk about something, it's supposed to be good. Was this, I've been sitting short at $4 basically the entire, all day long, just sitting, chilling in this stock. Volume spikes up and then trails out. And I'm holding like less than just under 10% of the position. Those holding up for a home run the same way I was with all of these. And then, of course, IMRN makes a spike, and I get stopped out, as Brendan talks about. So not every time that we go to Brendan is it always going to be like, oh, yeah, it gives you a winning trade. In this particular case, I don't actually lose on the last little bit. I covered it like 92. My short was at 97, but it did break back above that 390. I kept adjusting as it kept grinding down. Like VWAP obviously pulls down as well, following it, and eventually it broke up. So I got out of the trade. But that's the thing. Like if you're holding on for the last bit for a home run, there is the downside risk that on a small cap. You get one of those volume spikes taking you out, and then you give up that profit. If it had been a larger amount left, I probably would have covered it somewhere in these higher lows in the 60s. But I'm now out of another position, so down to NXTD, DD, and HYZN. NXTD, didn't hit 90s here, so looks like it came down, hit 4s again, so I re-entered the same trade that I got stopped out of. It hit 4s, now it's looking to hit 90s, and then we'll hope to get the rest out in front of VWAP, so that's going right back towards that well. And yeah, I mean, we're down to about 20 minutes left to go. Someone had asked a bit earlier, like, what do you think for imbalances on DWAC? So, and it's not that it couldn't have an imbalance. I know it's moving today, but I actually don't think that I've ever seen a significant imbalance on DWAC. And not all stocks are prone to having them, especially if you're not in an index. A lot of times it's just not going to happen. That's why it was so shocking. I think several weeks ago, I think it was within 1 week of the Rivian IPO, so months ago, I suppose, that Rivian in the first week or two had a significant imbalance. You don't always see that with an IPO, and you're not usually going to see them when names aren't in indexes. But it doesn't mean it can't happen. We do track it. If you're interested, when it comes out, I'll do a quick search. We can look to see if DWAC has an imbalance. I just am not anticipating at all that it will have one.
Yeah, so I was looking again here. Yeah, we'll check out DWAC. It looks like, okay, so now, the market's starting to come in here. So we are going to take that out. We had another shot again to get out for flat. So this is what it's all about, managing your positions, trying to send out tweets and looking at everything. But there it is, a nice little move to the downside right here for the NASDAQ. We're going to get cranked out of AMD a little bit. I said if we break this 93 level, but take one wild guess where my stop is going to be right now, and you will win, and you will be right. So let's see if it takes out that 136.90, then we're going to be gone. It's just a couple of these wicks to the downside. So very, very close to getting wicked out there, but not. So that's good. I just want to tell you, like, the reason why I'm putting out some of these tweets and keep on showing you, I think it's about building community here. So there's some more dogs. There's Guido. Shout out to everybody here that's sharing, and thank you so much. Shout out to Cole. Yes. Nice cat. Look how fluffy that cat is. Beautiful. We've already talked a little bit about this. Look at Vader. Nice cat there as well. Randy can add to this. And look at this. Pedro wins, man. As an owner of the Green Bay Packers, I approve. What a good, yeah, exactly. But, Chihuahuas, there it is, Green Bay Packers. And a shout out to Sammy as well, and Chris. There's a favorite toy. And looking right at you. What up, my man? Yeah, anyways, thank you for all the responses on this. It's been fantastic. And it all started with the Panther himself, William the Cat, right now. So thank you guys for participating in that. And look, man, no stop out again on AMD. Oh, man, we are living like dangerously. I should be averaging in down here, but again, I don't want to just compound the problem. If we're lucky enough that this does pop up, great, but I really feel like we're about to just take this out. It looks like we're going to do it right now. We've sort of been teetering on this level, and this is what I mean. Brendan talked about, we did stock market words the other day, and like beta, so you got to see, like, this is why we know that AMD will follow the NASDAQ. So as this starts to crank through a key level, you're going to see the same thing happening here on AMD. So, one will follow another unless there's individual news, stock-specific news. So watch out for AMD, obviously in the NASDAQ 100, and its friends like NVIDIA. I'm not going to follow Intel. Intel's been trading a little differently recently. But look, same thing. Look at NVIDIA right here, ready to crack below 279. So a lot of these chips right now getting ready to get hit. And the reason why I'm not talking about Intel is it's already down, or did Intel bounce? No, Intel's just not really at any key levels. But again, Intel's stronger right now. Like Intel's near the top. There we go. Out of AMD, that's a loser. Intel near at the top. So actually, Intel holding up pretty good here, not near the bottom like the NASDAQ is. So this might be a name to look at. Although we only
the one at the top,
19 minutes.
A to the Mizat. AMAT's up 4%. It's at the high of the day right now. By the way, DWAC is breaking It got to 69.63, so it is breaking into the upside. I just covered a little bit more of DD because it's sort of it's right down around that 495 level that it can't seem to break. But AMAT looking pretty strong. DWAC looking like it wants to try to put on a run. Of course, sometimes it just happens like late in the day when I don't love making these types of trades, because part of it being a day trader is you want time for the trade to work. So it's right here right now. Give me a break. Let's see if I can't get a fill. Gimme always gets. This is pretty simple. If it breaks the top, I'm out. Look, if it breaks 70 even, I just got 89. I could have had like 95 or something, but I just took 89s. So I'll risk about 15, 20 cents, see what it is. I don't like the notion of reversing into the long, because I don't like breakouts at this time of day. I find there's so many times that it'll make a break, not really go far enough to make the risk reward good enough, then pull back, and then the run happens at like 4 o'clock, right? And because we have to be flat, we have to cover our positions and have nothing left on by 4 p.m. Those aftermarket runs that you often see in these types of stocks, they're of no use to us, really. They're great for you guys, and that's fine. Like if you take a breakout and you have the ability to hold it, if it doesn't get back below 69, you can hold it in the aftermarket. Sometimes you do get that late run, but no good to us. There's about 65,000 shares on the offer that's getting chewed through. I have a stop. I don't know if my hands are on the keys. I have a stop through of 70 breaking. If 70 breaks, I'll be out of this automatically. We'll see if we can't lose. Hopefully not too much more than 11 cents. Slippage, of course, can be a thing.
So,
here we go.
I don't really know what to tell you guys, because a lot of you probably got out on that move down like I did. But typically a move that I do is just to get kind of peed off, especially when I see it go right back up to the upside. So I was like, I took the long again. And I took 5 times the shares that I had there. So actually 3.5 times the shares that we had on that move. So now we'll try to scalp this back out. Same out, man. If it breaks back down below, we'll get out of this one. But there it is. We went right back in, and now AMD's starting to rocket to the upside. We've made back everything that we've lost and more now. And this is part of it. Okay. Yes, sir. Right back up. So there it is, man. We got out and we got back in, and we say, okay, as this stock and the market now starting to go ham a little bit here. So nice little move to the upside there. And look at the NASDAQ. It breaks and then right back up. So part of me getting back in is just seeing a non-continuation move, man. Like we get stopped out there at 89 or whatever it was when it breaks, and then it stops and just pops. So like whatever, man, I'm going to get right back in. And here it is now. We're back in the money, 50 cents. So that's part of, and we talked about day trading versus blah, blah, blah. And this is another move right there that you would never make if you're investing. But there it is, a nice one right back upside, man. Yes, sir. Happy with this win, as we're now at the highest level we've been at all day off of this move. So I kind of feel like, a little bit of pie in face because we did get out there. But, we try to notice these wicks, but the wicks are always happening on AMD. So that's not the reason why. It was just, it retook that 137 so fast that we just punched right back in, marketed in, and here it goes back up to the upside, a 50-cent winner for AMD. So there it goes, man. If you guys got stopped out, you got stopped out. I apologize for that one. But there it is, right back. Yes, sir. Wow, right back up to 60, man. Let's take another, we have shares, so let's just take another piece off right now if we can. Well, of course we can right there, 62s. So out right there, runs right over us. Yes, wow. Only if we had held that, but that crystal ball we don't have. There goes AMD to the upside. A quick stop out there and then bang it to the upside. We're happy. I just wish it happened earlier so we wouldn't have got stopped out, but we're right back into AMD.
So there goes DWAC, and we talk about the difference between scalping, day trading and investing. We should talk about the difference also between scalping and swing trading or holding something all day long. If you try to hit a home run shorting at 90s in front of 70 even, basically it pulls back, gives you a good win. 40 cents when you're risking 10 to me makes a lot of sense because that's 4-1 with risk to reward. But if you don't take that profit, you only lose when it does a pullback. It touches 70, it then immediately pulls back. To me, that's like a free win. If you know that you can take this winner, if it runs, you're probably going to be able to get $1, $1.50. If it breaks out, you at least got your scalp out trade, and then you don't have to worry about it. Like I said, it's a bit late in the day for me to like the reversal, but that actually would have worked for you as well. So the 70 break does work out. I don't love breakouts when it gets this close to the end of the day, especially with imbalances coming out, but that has more to do with our structure here trading. Well, sometimes they work out. It's pretty good here, and I can't really complain. If you guys took it, it made some sense to take the 70. I was in the short. Actually, the slippage was not bad at all. I got 70-10, not 710, 70-10, so not much slippage on DWAC, despite the fact that it moved very rapidly. And that's the thing. You want to make sure you have good stop orders, make sure you cross enough. There's plenty of liquidity. It's unlike 13 million shares, but we have good routing keys here at Day Trade the World, so we tend to get some pretty solid fills. Down to 3 positions, although most of them are really not moving too much. And guess what is also starting to come back in here? So you talked about the market trying to bounce. I mean, Tesla, it's starting to pull back in. Like, it was looking like it was going to consolidation break, and now it's sort of given it up a couple of times. So going into the imbalances should be interesting to see if this can hold up. Like, of the strongest names that I can find in the big cap, and the chips, I saw AMAT was up to 4, but Tesla up to 4% as well. So strong move for them, despite we're seeing a flat market, which flat today is a win, I still think.
Yeah, we were expecting way worse today, and I hope that you guys took my idea on Funware. I know Neil was trying to get that short, which, great opportunities around here today. But I was saying, right when we were talking, remember, I was like, you know what, you just go long now, Funware, at 290, 294, especially if you're in a longer term account, because we did talk again about having that base here at 250. So the most you could lose, I mean, right there, boom. Let me know if you guys took that. Fire off the cannon, because that was a great trade. I just wish I would have took it, man. The break of $3 there, you guys were all talking about it, and DWAC running, Rumble running. Let's see if Rumble's going still. Not really, but Rumble did make that move from 1250, not the same. And then there's Neil just covered DWAC, so not much. Whoa, 71 right there as a top. And we talked about this as well. So again, guys, hit the like, hit everything you can there. Share this. We're talking about everything. Oh, one trade. So we'll talk about our winners, just as like we'll talk about our losers as the imbalances are coming through like right now. So we'll watch out for those. But one trade that I didn't screw up on, but I just wish that I had a little bit of a better out. Look at this Roblox. I wanted this break back to the upside, but I was literally 10 minutes too early. I take it, it tanks, I get out. This is 50 cents only, man. So we take a 50 cent or less than that hit on Roblox, and look what happens the next time it takes out this level. It's 87.50. Absolutely, like no cap all the way to the upside there. $2 straight up off of that break. So unfortunately, we had that break a little early and we missed that 50 cents, but all the way to the upside for this name. You guys know that I love Roblox here. I don't know about at these prices, but hey, Roblox, every time there's a dip down, I think you got to buy this name. It's come off a lot. It's not like a Teladoc or anything like that, although when we look at the financials, they may be similar. I just really like the runway for Roblox back up to the upside. I think they signed new deals with Nike. They had one today with, I forget who it was. Brendan might remember who it was, but Roblox signed with somebody else. Okay, so right now, here we go. Coming through today, right now with the imbalances, QYLED right there with a nice little move. Suncor with a sell. We'll check if that's anything on Toronto. The market goes nowhere basically on this. We'll see if anything else is pretty. Oh, these are the daily charts. We don't really want to look at that. Anything else big here? I don't see anything. So MO, I don't know, Philip Morris. Yeah, nothing really. Maybe Ford with a 500. Wow, Ford's back up to 50. So I don't see anything. So to me, it's a nothing burger here.
CCJ, that's that uranium play. We were talking about uranium because if you think that what's going on between Russia and Ukraine, and look, I'm not trying to launch into politics here. It's just if you think that a lot of this is going to end up being a nothing burger, then CCJ, which is a uranium mining company, is probably going to be a good one. Yeah, and actually it's pulled back the last couple of days. So interesting that you see a sell imbalance on it. There's nothing interesting on the imbalance locator that I can find, and I saw that up there. Yeah. And the first thing I thought of was, oh yeah, Ukraine, uranium. That kind of makes some sense. Would be a sell imbalance on it. I just got again stopped out of NXTD, and again, this is why when scalping your trades. If that'll load up for me, there you go. Takes up the top again, and if you don't take any profit at at $4, sorry, then you're just going to lose on the entire thing. So if it works all the way, then you get the big win, but you have to give some up. And when you take stair steps out, you're giving up the bigger gain to make sure that if it goes wrong, you're not going to lose as much. And to me, that's just exposing yourself to more positive, probabilities. Because to me, everything is probabilities. I never think about a trade as whether you win or you lose. Like there's a million ways in which it can play out, and each of them have probabilities that you don't know, and you just have to try and get a positive expectancy out of it, as opposed to trying to be right. So that's just my approach. With about 8 minutes to go, if anything really changes here in the balance locator, I guess we'll let you know. But I don't think that's what's going to be driven. So I'm going to be watching DWAC here, just because it is your big mover, and there it is, like it pulls right back in. So it broke 70, that breakout trade gives you a buck, right? So that's, you can't call it, it's definitely successful. If you took the long, congratulations. I don't think it was a bad breakout. I thought it was late in the day to take it, but it gave you a clean, almost, $1.50, and starting to pull right back in. The bull run on this is not really abating here. You are gonna see a nice continuous, not really a good trend line if you were to draw it, maybe from yesterday, but not since it first spiked. It's actually still, maybe it's actually accelerating a little bit here, but the parabolic move on the first day, it then leveled off to then make another breakout, which you're seeing here in today. As for next stop, I mean, if you go back, if you're looking at the daily chart, there was this at 77. I think a little bit more significant is when you get into the 80s. But yeah, in front of President's Day, this is on a run. It's going to be a good day trading name, regardless of what you think. If it's moving, as a day trader, you've got to be trading what moves and what gives you opportunity. So you have to stick to that and find your setup. Right? You have to leave everything else at the door if that's what it's all about. So DWAC continues to be a day trading vehicle. It is what it is.
Just hold on a second. I'm just trying to figure out something there. Okay, so quickly here, just a talk. The only position that I'm in right now is AMD, and we are trying to hit that home run. So let's see if it goes up, man. We're 50 cents in the money right now, and we're just going to see. I'm going to say VWAP. So let's see if we get up to 138. We only have 6 minutes to do that. I don't know. We're playing with a little bit of fire here. I mean, we could take 50 cents, put it in our pocket, but again, we only have right now 20%. 20, 40, 60, 80, all the way to the upside. And again, I'll tell you every time, what kind of percentages we have on. And if, like I said, this was 3.5 times the share size of this trade combined. So we took that up to the upside. Playing this, we'll see if we can get it out now. It's AMD. Is going to be a nice win for us. We only have, we have a couple negative names today. We have Roblox. We did dump out a Palantir when it broke through here. So this, although is okay, again, too many averages in here. That's a negative name for us today. Rivian. No, not even close to a negative name. Actually, one of my number one stocks. Look at that out right there, guys. 85 and change out right there for you. I would have reloaded that if I would have seen it. Did not see it. Missed opportunity there on Rivian, but whatever. Lucid, man, the cash cow continues on Lucid. Bang, 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 bang right there. So nice little win. This is about out for flat, just to take out some pressure. And then there's the monster win right there, 250 on Rivian. SoFi was just scalping out. Other than that, man, Intel's a positive day for me today, although we got dumped out right there. Intel right back to basically where we were when we were dealing with this stock. So, we did get out on that break, but it allows us to not worry about this move. And then that's about it. Oh, and then Upstart was make $2, lose $2. So Upstart right here, make, reload, lose. So that's our day there on Upstart, trying a little bit to get a little too fancy with that trade, but whatever, we'll learn our lesson on Upstart. The spread on Upstart, like now it's actually fine, but it can open up to 20, 30, 50 cents, $1, even when it starts to move. So that's about it, man. And I don't know, I guess, the dream might be over. Let's just take this out with only a couple minutes left. Hey, we'll take 50 cents. We'll take the 50 cent mark here and get out of the way of AMD. Don't know if it runs into the close, but I'm pretty happy with this one. So let's take out AMD and just end the day.
Yeah, 355 hits. It's like usually think about getting flat. I covered HYZN and DD as well. We get TSM, TSM Taiwan semi reporting before tomorrow. So you're looking at the chip makers today, and that's going to be a good bellwether for them. They're there tomorrow, right, Brendan? Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure. We'll double check. If I'm wrong, I apologize in advance. But they are in a good runner up at the highs of the day here, and I'm noticing they're getting right into some recent resistance here. So TSM on the run. There's been a weird divergence in the semis today. It's kind of interesting. You were talking and showing AMD there. I did show you AMAT, which was ending the day pretty strong. Another one I want to watch going into the close because it's kind of continuing to scream going into the close. Now up 4.5%. So good run on AMAT. And it's getting quite close to those highs. I did say if it got back up to the high, it might be time to at least take a little bit out. and realize some gains. I still love them for the year, don't get me wrong. It's just you sometimes want to realize gains in this market. Brendo.
It is definitely tomorrow for TSM. No time specified, which is a little bit strange. There's usually a call booked in here as well, but I don't see the call either. So definitely tomorrow, January 13th, along with Delta reporting pre-market tomorrow, guys.
Delta, holla.
Yeah.
Airline, get some airline action in there. Yeah, just another one that I wanted to note, that CNBC bump that Crocs got, it actually held it up. So still up 7%. I know it got a little bit higher than that, got up to 137. I shorted it once after the news came out, or after they were, I guess not the news, after they were talking about it on air. And then I tried to short that top. It's still looking pretty strong going into the day. Will be on the radar for tomorrow's trade, as will Vinco Ventures. I know I didn't put on a trade in Vinco, but it didn't, it just never quite got there. I guess the daily chart will maybe show this 323 to 330 area a little bit better. It didn't quite get to where I thought resistance might be, but it usually, at least sometimes, it'll put like a 2 or 3 day move in. Let's see if it does. I'd love to be able to trade that one. You probably have seen, I don't know if they've had the shot, but with 2 minutes to go, Randy is lingering around here now. He's going to try and hide if they put him on camera, but he's lingering. He's going to ring that bell. Miss V, of course, who usually does those duties, she will be back. She feels better, a little better every single day. Shout out to Miss V. She's been in the chat, certainly in the midday show and in the mornings. I don't know if she's here right now. But we wish her the best. She was earlier. But when she gets back, you will get to see her ring the bell once again, just in a couple of days, I do think. She is certainly feeling better.
Yep, I don't think she's in the chat right now, but we're gone. So yes, sir, we'll go Mamma Mia again. As there's this local pizza joint that has a Wednesday night special. So although I'll probably be picking up a Domino's or something like that for the kids, we are going to obviously support our local. And actually, I'll just see. I'll see what their pepperoni is like, because my kids if they have any random spices on there, they won't do it. So that's why.
Meaning they won't eat the good pizza.
I know.
They want that.
It's fine for me. I mean, I'm spending more money on the good pizza.
True.
But we'll get ready to rock and roll. So only a minute left right now. AMD, we gone. We out of that one. A nice positive name there as well. And we're getting ready to close out the day. DraftKings down today. It's kind of a nasty day for some of those names. Check back in on TDoc, the name that we sold yesterday. To raise cap. So let's see now. 80, good. So 81. So we sold this at 87 yesterday. So a good sell yesterday. Happy with that. Normally that doesn't work out for me. With only 30 seconds to go, though, it looks like Randy's on the bell. And before we say anything, although Randy's on the bell, I feel like they should all be on the bell. But a big shout out to Mark, Vitaly in the background, Michael. I mean, I don't know who else.
Mark's
is there.
probably still working.
It's only Randy. So I know the reason why Randy's ringing the bell is because everybody else is working. You see?
Mark is already probably trying to tell something Rob that he needs to do.
Right, Randy? That's what it is. No, shout out to everybody today. Big work happening with only 7 seconds to go. We're really proud and happy about the team.
4, 3, 2. I just thought of something.
Go ahead.
No, we're going to ring the bell.
Oh, yeah, like a crescendo.
Well, it's not that, but so there was a space there before. So you could see the bell and the person ringing a little bit better.
No more Randy. Randy?
You can't take this guy anywhere.
This guy, yeah.
No, but it's a little harder to see the person ringing the bell because now you've got a station blocking it. Anyways,
things that someone sitting there. Actually, Randy
things that we're going to have to figure out.
Yeah, whoever the poor trader is that sits there is going to have to wear earphones or something, headphones. Right. Yeah. Who knows? Yeah, whatever. We'll figure it out as we go. But yeah, what a successful day again today, man. Very, very happy. Really happy with everything out. Randy. We'll figure out what's going on with that bell there. Oh man, the fun continues here on Trader TV Live, and it wouldn't happen. We wouldn't have as much fun if we didn't have such a great team switching the show. So a shout out to Lucas and to Rob. Again, we were all in meetings this afternoon, so I want to give a big shout out to Prad over there as well. There it is. Yeah, shout out to Prad. The bull. So I have it on the bull. We could turn it to a bear, but I'm trying to stay bullish there.
We're up today.
Oh, did we not even throw to Brendan yet? Brendan!
We're already on 3-shot, dude.
What's up, Brendan? How was the day?
Positive. I mean, there was a lot of people very worried about what happened this morning, and ends up being a positive day. So, hey, we'll take it. Not big numbers, but hey, positive. So, pretty good day, top to bottom, guys.
And it was iHeartMedia there. Thanks, Brendan, for that one. I just saw in the notes that another deal for Roblox today. And I think, having concerts or, whatever, they know artists. We had that. I don't know. I should ask Prad how that Paris Hilton New Year's thing was. Did you attend that, Prad? It looked no. Okay. No. Head shaking. No. So I wasn't trying to say anything.
Prad was shoveling snow.
I didn't either. So I want to see how that was. But hey, guys, thank you so much. Any last words there, Neil? I've been talking for a while here.
No, it's all good. DWAC through 71.50. Like I said, man, if you take that break, if you have the ability to trade in the aftermarket, a lot of times it gets a secondary push. I mean, we're not supposed to trade at this time, but hey, look at it. We're going to be in play on this thing tomorrow, almost guaranteed.
Yeah, exactly, guys. So just reading some chats in there. Yeah, thanks again. We had a lot of great time today, a lot of fun. Thank you to Brendan, obviously a big show. And we're back tomorrow, man. Is tomorrow finally Friday? No, Thursday. It is not. It is only Thursday. So 2 more days this week. And then, Monday off. So 2 more days and we're off Monday and we'll be back Tuesday. But doesn't matter. We're back tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Catch us then and have a splendid evening. Ciao.